Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Doom Eternal podcast. This is our end of the year special, and we have some very special guests with us. Normally, we have our co-hosts, the Spud Hunter and P&D Ketchup. Spud is going to call in very soon and be with us. And Ketchup is on a train at the moment, and when he gets in, he's going to call in and try to say hi. But we're going to go ahead and get things started here. I am your host, Under the Mayo, and I'm joined by Hmmmp. Hmmmp, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Hello.
Nice. Maynarde, the Twitch streamer, Doom Eternal Ultra Nightmare Runner. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. And I've been Ultra Nightmaring the old, or not that old, the 2016 as well a lot. But yeah, it's good, man. Good to be on the podcast. I've been a long-time viewer, first-time guest.
All right, this is great. And also, we have another special guest today. Joining us is director of Doom Eternal, Hugo Martin.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I don't know if it's morning where everybody is.
Hugo has just woken up. You can hear it in his voice.
Where is it by you?
It's 2 p.m.
That's such bull. And what? And then Ketchup. Ketchup's not here. So,
Maynard.
Mayo. Where is it by? What time is it by you right now?
Mayo. This is 8 a.m. for me. A little after 8 a.m.
All right.
I've been up all night with my whiskey to prepare for this.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
No sleep.
And Maynard, what time is it by you?
It's quarter to midnight. It's nearly morning, almost.
Nice. And it is 7 a.m. by me. But I was actually, I'm tired because I was doing the dad thing. I was wrapping gifts because we're gonna fly out tomorrow to go to New York to go see the family, and because we're in Texas, obviously, and so we had to wrap a few gifts last night. We did like the family Christmas here at the house this morning. And finished that up, got my coffee. They're just finishing up now. Got my coffee, so I'm ready. Excited to chat with you fine gentlemen.
Well, it's good that we got you today then, because if you're leaving for New York tomorrow, then we wouldn't have been able to do this.
Yeah, Thursday was my last day at ID for the year, and we had an awesome ID Christmas party, an impromptu Christmas party, which wasn't official. It was just a bunch of us getting together at a bar for a few drinks, and it was awesome. It was good seeing everybody.
Yeah, I assume that you guys haven't been able to see much of each other over the past almost 2 years.
No, not at all. And honestly, a huge thank you to you guys, even to people who didn't make it, and you guys especially, because thanks for all the support from all of us that did. Maynard, I've seen your stream. I've popped in once in a while. I popped in on all of your guys' streams. We've been chatting for almost 2 years now, which is hilarious, and it's been awesome. I love all your guys' content, so thank you from me, from everybody at ID, Marty, all the devs. Just the support has been amazing. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Like seriously, my entire content changed around when Doom Eternal got released, and I started getting super deep in Doom again. So, thank you, Daddy Hugo, for the Doom video games.
Thank you.
What would your year have been like if Doom Eternal hadn't come out?
It would have been a very boring year, I think.
Did you? That's actually that's a good question. Like, if you don't mind me asking, how did? Hold on a second.
Oh, he's gone.
The podcast just got way worse.
We have.
I hope Hugo Martin gets to see Spider-Man swing around New York if he gets there.
Yes, we're gonna probably be interrupted often because of my kids. But did you have like a channel before Doom Eternal, or like were you making videos before Doom Eternal?
I had a Dutch channel which I abandoned because it wasn't doing well, and generally Dutch people don't care about Doom because they only care about mainstream stuff. I'm not saying that Doom isn't mainstream, but it isn't popular here by any means.
It's not. It's not Call of Duty, right?
Yeah, that way. And that's the only thing they play here.
You made these short videos that were like Can you talk a little bit about how maybe you guys have all talked about this to death already, but for us, from my perspective, like, Mayo started making his videos like kind of the review almost like a Total Biscuit, approach, which was really awesome. And Maynard, you're like just this killer, Doom streamer. I definitely actually want to talk to you more about that. And so I kind of understand all your guys' paths. Hmmmp was really interesting to me because initially his videos were like, by the title, I'm like, well, he hates Doom. And then when you saw it, it's like, no, he's just trolling us. I mean, he loves the game. He plays it all the time. And you make these short little videos, like just how your numbers were crazy. Like, it was amazing how many views you were getting. Can you talk about that a little?
Sure. So I guess at first I was making like Doom Eternal montages. I'm not sure if you've heard of Oif, but he made montages when the game came out.
Yes.
I got really inspired by his montages, so I made my own. That's, I think, my first video was a montage, and eventually I started making these shorter videos, and just at one point one of them just blew up where the Doomslayer died in midair, because in Doom 2016 you guys have, I think you guys put in this thing where if you fall down long enough you just die. And that happened to me, so I was like, okay, the Doomslayer dies to nothing. I uploaded that, and that got a lot of views. So I kept doing that, like uploading shorter clips, and then they all got a lot of views, and they all kind of blew up, and that's how it happened.
And then it was the tier list video.
Oh yeah,
that's what I think put you on the map, or put you on the radar of a bunch of other channels. In my experience,
I got a comment from Midnight. He was like, "B tier is too high for my channel" or something. Which was pretty funny.
You had that. You put me. I don't know. You put me in A tier or something. And you were like, yeah, under the Mayo. He talks a lot about Doom, and he says he hates God of War 4. And if you don't like God of War, you can fuck yourself, or something like that. Yeah. If you like God of War 4, you can fuck yourself. He doesn't care. So Mayo's A tier. I'm like, yes, this guy gets it.
Yeah. No, I thought that was pretty funny.
That was a funny video.
Very specific things, and that's just great in my opinion. Yeah.
And how does it work? Like, are you able to because that's what started happening too, is like your videos would be surfaced to me. Like, you seem to catch the algorithm, I guess. I hear people say that all the time, but I have no idea how it works. Like, are you aware of like how you caught on to the algorithm? Was it obviously to you that it did, because it circulated? So, I mean, your numbers are tremendous. Like, I mean, your best video, maybe it's that video. Doesn't that have like almost 1 million views or something?
Well, the video that got almost 1 million views was the one where the blood punch malfunctioned. Not sure why that got like nearly 1 million, but I guess like maybe I was the first person that kind of blew up making shorter videos. There were people doing it before me. They all say that I started shitposting for Doom Eternal, but there were people doing it way before me. But I guess I was the first one to blow up doing it or something.
You made it cool.
There was a second where because then shitposting became a trend, and I remember someone in the office, I think even Mayo and I talked about it, where it was like, is this a problem, do we think? I forgot, somebody at the office was asking me, and I'm like, no, they love the game. Like, I think it's hilarious.
A lot of the bugs make the game better, especially those glitches where you just fly up in the air at 900 meters.
No, absolutely. I think somebody just joined us.
I think Spud is here.
Spud.
Hello, sorry, my Aussie internet being dodgy. I was on my phone trying to tether it.
What's up,
mine worked,
Spud?
mate. Sorry.
Okay. NBN
and we're just chatting about how your guys' channels have evolved, and so and are you guys aware at all of the algorithm of YouTube and how it works? And I don't even know. Pretty much the only thing I know is the sentence I just said. I know nothing of how YouTube works. So
can I comment on that?
Anybody could comment on it. I'm just very curious how that works.
I put out a indie review of Papers, Please, the little indie game about checking passports, and I did it over a year and a half ago, and it got okay views. And then suddenly, 3 months ago, it got picked up into the algorithm because the people who were reviewing it started posting a whole bunch of like COVID conspiracy comments. Freaking out, this is like today, and you can't travel because of COVID, and people started going crazy in the comments, and YouTube likes that, and so my old video got picked up into the algorithm and shot up by 600,000 views in 2 months.
Holy cow!
Out of nowhere.
And so when you say YouTube likes that, is it that for you guys, if a video generates comments, that's kind of a dumb question, but
It's comments and it's retention in my view, because clicks, that doesn't mean much. You can have a video that's 20 minutes long and gets a whole bunch of clicks, but if people click away in 30 seconds, like that doesn't mean much. But if people are watching the video for like at least half of it, YouTube really likes that. They like retention because that means that they're seeing more ads, and that means they care.
Why the quick videos are good, because then you get the likelihood that people will watch the whole thing is way higher?
I think that's how it works for the most part. Also, a fun part about YouTube, I think that dislikes also help you in the sense that it's seen as like
engagement.
Engagement basically.
But they must be so much lower now, because why do you even dislike a video if you're not contributing to a dislike number?
It's really interesting that that's a good topic.
It's so lame.
As a developer, the content creator, look, it sucks when the downvotes, kill you, but it's also really clear how you're doing.
Yeah.
It's such a clear, easy way. Like, you make art, you make something, and you could see. Hold on a second. Don't switch. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could see right away like how you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, which was awesome. We in the studio, I was just fanatical about it. Just like it meant everything to me. Like the like dislike ratio on a trailer, on anything. Just to see like it's the pulse of the community. Like if you're 50-50, it's like, well, people are mixed. It can actually happen. But it rarely does, at least for us. I'm curious for you guys. Like, how did you feel about, like, more likes than dislikes? And back when it used to work, did it, all clicks are good clicks, or like, would
all
your
clicks are
preference
good
be?
clicks? All clicks are good.
So even if you got a like to dislike ratio that was more, 80% dislikes, 20% likes, still, so long as it's being viewed.
For me, it depends on the content. Like if I upload a Doom video and it gets 80%. Dislikes, then I'm like, oh fuck, I fucked up. What did I do wrong? And I'm gonna immediately be like, okay, what did I do? But if I upload my takes on Outriders or God of War and I get 60% dislikes, then I'm like, that's a badge of honor to me.
Yeah. I guess why does and I totally respect the game, and how it needs to be played. Like, the move seems to be like, hot take title with then your opinion, your real opinion. So it could be like, if I'm here to defend the Marauder, for example, I'll say Marauder stinks or sucks, but then I'm going to give you my real video. Like, I notice, and I see it in everything, like not just Doom stuff. It's just that the negative title is the hook, right? Or just like, is that it? Or how does it work? Like, I mean, I guess I've seen positive titles, of course, do well.
Depends on your channel, doesn't it? Depends on your style. Hmmmp, I can see you. Hmmmp, I can see you doing that.
You know what it is, Hugo? See it this way, right? Especially if people sell it in the title, you see it from like a user's perspective, or try and put yourself in the mind of an average person, right? Like you go on YouTube and you see like thumbnails, and it's like it's a good looking thumbnail, whatever, but then like the title is. Let's just say Doom Eternal. I'm not saying this is the fact or anything, but I'm just saying, like, let's say the title is Doom Eternal. It's a pretty well-made game. And it's like, all right, well, that's it. It's a well-made game. I don't need to click on this or watch it. But then if it says, the Marauder is outrageous, broken, this, that, and the other, or something like that, it triggers something in the mammalian brain to be like, yeah, fuck these guys, and click it, and then like, yeah, it is fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's why it is such a culture. So, and because a lot of it is being perpetuated all the time, it becomes like this feedback loop where everyone has to do it. So the people that find a way to break the chain, I mean, I'm not blowing smoke up Mayo's butt, but like, like
there's
the
already
challenge
plenty
matter
there.
stuff. You know what I mean? Like it is something like that's like. it engages people, but it's not the same kind of hate train shit,
it's
you
not,
know?
It's not so much a negative title or positive title. It's just like, don't be lukewarm about it. Like,
Yeah,
Be strong about
like, Be strong
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, you could praise, hate, critical, intense love. Like, just don't be like, which makes total sense. I mean, like, of course that's yep. If you got something to say, good or bad, say it loud, right? In the title. I love all your guys' content. I love it. You guys know that. I tell you that privately. I watch it all. It just cracks me up. I've kind of popped into a couple of Maynard's streams recently, dude. Your stuff is awesome. Once again,
Thank you, man.
It's
He's really
it's really great.
entertaining.
And you're also good at the game too. That's the part that kills me.
I try.
I actually showed. We were having a conversation the other day with the devs, and I was showing them some of your footage. We all know how you play the game, but it was you'd be proud. Like, we were just like dissecting it for 30 minutes, an hour. We just had it. Well, shit, the meeting was like 4 hours. So like we had it up there, and periodically I would bring it up and run through it and just kind of. I think there's a. It's just amazing to watch. It's all we ever hoped for was like that. We said it all the time. A game that's worth your time to master. That was one thing we learned with Doom 2016's multiplayer is that and I knew this before, but I really learned this lesson firsthand with that whole experience, which is it's an awesome multiplayer. But like the design story of your project, like whatever it is, every time you make something that has a design story, it's like whatever it's like having an agenda, right? And at some point when you release your art, your game, your book, your movie, especially with a game, if whatever your agenda was, whatever your design story was, which was the development story of the project, your mission statements, the theories behind what you were trying to do and accomplish, those will become super transparent to the audience as soon as they see it and play it. Like they can see it as clear as day. And so that means you're exposed, but sometimes, so you better like whatever your design story is. It has to be something that you're going to be able to stand behind with confidence. And when it's not, when you have like some kind of ulterior motive, or like just something you didn't really want to maybe necessarily, say to the audience directly, then you're really checkmated because they know anyway, So with 2016's multiplayer, we wanted to make, Quake and elements of the loadout system from, something more modern games like Halo and Call of Duty. So kind of bring arena shooters together with some of the more modern shooters that were going on. And that was not a story that people wanted to hear. They never want id to follow. They want us to lead. They didn't want to hear the Halo or Call of Duty in our design story at all, but it was in our design story, and it was so obvious, and from that point on, it was like always operate as if him, Spud, Maynard, and Mayo are like in the room when we're talking, because they'll see it when we release it. There's nothing we can't hide, whatever our design story is. So, which has helped us tremendously. I mean, I think that's why Doom Eternal turned out the way it did. So I say all that to say, like, throughout development, it was like, we have to give them a combat puzzle that is worth their time to master. Like, we have to. Like, that engagement was everything. Tiers of engagement, the belt system from white to blue to black, which you guys are all black belts now. And so to see you guys now, and like when we're in the office analyzing the video, here we are 2 years later, it's like, dude, it's so satisfying. It is like everything that we wanted, which is awesome. It's all I could have ever hoped for. I'm just gonna say thank you guys a lot in this podcast, but it's great. I love it.
I was gonna say a second thank you to you, Hugo. So I actually have a little bit of a story about my. Obviously, for anyone viewing right now that doesn't know me, I'm not on YouTube at all. Really, I have a YouTube channel, but it's got some StarCraft stuff on it. And you'd be like, yeah, what StarCraft? Why is he doing on a Doom podcast? Well, I'm just been a Twitch guy, 100% Twitch full time for the past 5 years, and that started off being a StarCraft 2 commentator and player. Mm-hmm. I've always been a competitive guy. Like esports is in my blood since the 90s. I played Quake back in the 90s. That's how I was on quote unquote pro team back then.
That's awesome.
When you get paid in Jolt Cola, like you didn't get any money. But you know, I just always had shooters in my blood, but also had RTS in my blood as well. When StarCraft 2 got released, I was full time in that game. I was just everything about that game was my whole life for 10 years. It was even in my wedding vows. StarCraft came up. Like it's just in my blood. And then just, like I started to get really depressed because I was starting to feel like the game wasn't as interesting to me anymore. And I'm like, well, what do I have? Like, this is my life. I guess I'm going to have to get an office job soon because I can't stream and be happy with what I'm doing. I feel like my commentary was getting worse, even though I was still getting people reaching out for gigs. And then Doom Eternal came out, and I was like, well, you know, every now and then I stream a variety game. I was like 99% StarCraft, 1% I'd stream an off day, which would get no viewers. You know, they were always there for StarCraft, my people, but when Doom Eternal came out, I started playing it, and I noticed that my viewership didn't go down, and then in fact it started to go up. People were like, "Oh wow, I didn't realize Maynarde was a good shooter player. I've only ever watched him, you know, build things and send armies across a map." And I really fell in love with the game so much that I just needed an excuse to keep playing it. And then eventually I made the decision. Pretty much this year, I made the decision. So I started in 2020, but this decision I like doubled down on this year and said I'm going to go full time Doom Eternal, and by Doom I mean Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, and just play shooters, revisit FPSs that I played as a kid. You know, boomer shooters from back in the day, quote unquote, like, you know, the 3Ds and Blood and all that sort of stuff. Been playing them for the first time in like decades, which I've just been really fucking loving it, and my community's been loving it too. I've been getting like a lot of the StarCraft people's hanging around because they're all my age, you know, StarCraft people.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense,
and they all grew up with the same games, and it's just been like I had a job that I loved. Like I quit my full-time job to be a streamer because I loved what I was doing, and then I stopped loving it, and now I love it again, basically because
That's
of Doom
awesome.
Eternal getting me back into it, and I love the game so much. I always say on my stream when people are like, you know, what's your favorite game, and I'm like, look, I'm in my mid-30s. I've played pretty much everything, and it's my favorite game that I've ever played, ever, out of everything. And they're like, what, even StarCraft? I'm like, yep, I didn't stutter. You heard me. I didn't stutter.
You know, people crack me up. They're like, and I know you guys, we've all talked about this both privately and publicly. Like, we weren't trying to top 2016. Like, we were just trying to make same fundamentals. The core of Doom is aggression is the answer to everything, right? You've got to feel like you're being empowered to be aggressive, and you've given the tools to be as aggressive as you want to be. And it's that unbridled fury that, like, you feel unleashed in Doom. So those are the broad, super high level boxes that we have to check. I'm sure there's others, but but the way we do it, that's where the freedom comes in. Both the look of the game, the gameplay, the loop, the fun zone. So like when people are like, "Oh, it's not like 2016," I'm like, and I know, like, that was the point. Like, why would we make more of the game you stopped playing? You know, like, and that's not to say I don't love 2016. It's just like when there's a Steam sale, I want each Doom game to stand on its own, so it's worth your time to play all of them. Like, because if all we did was make more levels of 2016, would that have been good? Yes, but like, you know what I mean? It's like, well, why are you going to buy why are you even going to bother? Like, once you've played one, you're just going to play a more polished, newer version of, you know, the last game you played. So it's like intentionally trying to just give you guys new experiences every time, new things to master. You know, the danger too of like not doing that is like, that means if we don't do that, you're just going to come into the next game with all the skills already applicable and ready to go, which means it essentially starts to feel like a DLC, which means it does have to be really, really hard. Like, you know, like we have to go somewhere, you know, so which is not a recipe for success. I don't think, like, it's like, you mastered this, you love it, cool. I think it's like, let's give you something new to master, you know?
Can I say something on this? Because that's a
Of course.
really, really important point that I've been trying to talk to people about. When people ask what do I want from the next Doom game, right? And I tell them that I don't want it to be a sequel to Doom Eternal, because what was so fantastic about the Doom Eternal, and I'm speaking to, everyone who's listening, I'm speaking to everyone in the Doom Eternal community right here. We all played this game from nothing. We all went in not knowing what to do. We all learned it together, and that was the magic of it. That's why we fell in love with it. We went in and we all had to go through the process of figuring out how it was played. And if we get another Doom game and we go, okay, all right, where's my PB, where's my dash, where's my meat hook, where's my ballista, and if we jump in and you already know how to play it, where's my flame belch, where's blah 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 blah, then we're not gonna have that same experience. We're not gonna grow together as players through that whole teaching experience and learn to love the game. We're immediately going to go in expecting to know what to do and already criticizing what doesn't feel exactly like it used to. Doom Eternal was a very new experience compared to Doom 2016, and I think the next games you do, I would predict that you want to recreate that learning experience and bring something new to the table.
100%. It's boring. It would be just as boring for us to make an experience like that as it would be for you to play it. Not that it would be terrible, but it's just more of the same.
Yeah.
I tell the team this all the time. It's the same chassis, because I always bring it back to cars. It's the same chassis, but it's got to have new parts. Like, it is a new car. It's built on the same framework, the general philosophies of the fun zone and how to hold the player accountable and corral them into the experience. Make a deal with them, like, trust us, like we're gonna guide you into this polished experience, and that's the kind of game we make. I'm not saying it's what everybody else should make, but but then the tools of the fun zone. Look, they're from 2016 to Eternal. There's carryover, of course. We make aggressive shooters, so I don't think I'm giving anything away that we're gonna keep making aggressive, empowering shooters. So, but mostly it's got to be, to what Mayo's point is, just something new enough,
Yeah.
But I appreciate, I love that you guys see it that way. Because that's what we want to do. It's so much more fun for us too. Like, we get to spend years, just working on new things, and it's. Yeah, and then just watching you guys, as you said, just kind of master it, and you've mastered it all of you. Like, I can't even come close. It cracks me up when I watch you guys play. You play so much, you could just do it while chatting with your streamers, and you're just flying through the air doing the craziest shit. It's like all of you, even him, he's just shit posting and talking crap and arguing with his group, and but he doesn't even realize. I mean, I'm sure he does, but as I'm watching, I'm like, he's amazing. Like, he's so good at the game. All of you guys, it cracks me up.
Chat does get me killed a lot.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. I'll look over there and they say something funny, and I'll just run into a rocket and die.
Yeah.
But see,
key is to check the chat during glory kills or chainsaw kills and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I gotta learn, man.
Oh yeah.
The swearing compilations that you went through, the growing pains you went through, because obviously you spent so long developing the game and not getting to play it 24/7 like we did. We just had that, but on the early days, so you didn't get to see everyone do that the first 2-3 weeks. 2-3 weeks they played the game.
Very true, Spud. Very true.
The first Ultra Nightmare run of that game I did, I think I spoke French, German, English, everything, dude. So it's a delayed experience. That's all.
It's funny, people are like, you see, even he's frustrated. I'm like, dude, I always say this to everybody. Frustration is a part of engagement. You could take that too far, absolutely. But when you hit the bumpers of the fun zone, when you do the wrong thing, our job is to aggressively, send you a message, and then you come back and you think and well, what could I have done, and so yeah, man, I hit him too. I'm not. Of course, that's. I don't know a single. I think we could talk about this for the whole show, because I know Mayo doesn't like Sekiro. I love Sekiro. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And dude,
it's a good game. It's a good game. It's just not to my personal taste. Please leave me alone.
I love he and I chat about that kind of stuff, and dude, I love that. To each his own. You know what I mean? There are games that people love that I don't love, but I don't I recognize that they're great games. They're just not for me. But dude, if you had a camera on me playing Sekiro, I was a miserable person. Just a bad dad, a bad probably coworker, just furious. It was amazing when we played it, because it was me, Chad Mossholder, lead sound designer, and then Ben Carney, another sound designer, and all three of us were going through it at the same time, and we were just calling and texting each other's multiple times a day because we just had no lives too. Like that was the other thing. It dropped such a bomb on my life, like because I didn't do much of anything else. You know, like my wife's like, "Are you just gonna sit here and play this?" I'm like, "I'm doing research. I have to play this." You know, which is always my excuse. And oh my god,
that's what most husbands say. It's just research. It's just research. Exactly. You don't understand.
Baby, I'm working.
My son says that sometimes. He's like, "I'm doing work." I'm like, "No, you're not. You don't make games." Like, but I was.
I just want to be like you, Dad. You don't want this kind of laugh.
I just screaming my head off, dude, just nonstop. So totally. I think those games are, they're obviously to the extreme. I would never. We would never go that far, but it's really just because they have one difficulty setting. That's the big thing with them. It's like it's a one size fits all, and it's tuned pretty high. It'd be interesting. You guys think with Elden Ring? I mean, are you guys excited for Elden Ring?
I'm extremely excited. I've got thousands of hours in the Souls series and FromSoft games.
Oh, same. They're gonna put jumping in Dark Souls. It's amazing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Maynard, what's your favorite FromSoftware game?
I'm actually a Bloodborne guy because I'm a big fan of Lovecraftian horror, and I really like the rally system and how you can't just sit behind a shield. Yep. So that had a lot of that, the push forward, aggressive play that you were talking about in Doom Eternal. Bloodborne had a lot of that, but it also had a stamina bar. So you had to be aggressive, but also know when to pull out and start getting on the defensive and dodging again before getting back in. But it would reward you for getting up in the face of something scary. And I really like that. And just the setting and everything. And the music, it's just, it's amazing.
Spud, with your reflexes, are you a FromSoftware guy?
I'm going to say this, I'm going to be transparent. I got piped when I played Dark Souls 2 recently. I tried it on my stream. A couple of people were like, you want to try something? Because I'm trying a few different single-player games lately, doing different things. And I about a month or two ago, I played Dark Souls 2. And I'm a keyboard and mouse dude. And, dude, they don't let you bind keys, at least that one. I found I couldn't rebind my keys, and it was like the home key is move forward, the Z key is move backwards, and the F2 key is change weapons, and the space bar is to I don't, dude. I felt like I had my hands in 4 different locations, and apparently the only way you can play those games is controller. To block properly and do everything really well with the reflexes. So basically, when I played it, it felt like I'd taken a hammer to the head, and that's how I played it. It was rough.
Maynard, you're using a controller?
Yeah, I've always played Souls games with a controller. I can't play them without one. Even on a PC, I'll play it with a controller.
Spud, can you and Hmmmp? I'm assuming you played on controller as well.
Yeah.
Spud, would you give it? Spud. I say this all the time to everybody too, by the way. But if you are a PC player and you're looking to get into controller, you gotta get the Elite controller, man. That thing is just ridiculous. But would you give it a go with the controller, Spud?
I'd have to. I think, I don't know. It'd be one of those things where a mate lent me a controller. I did not to go on about the Quake. Id Software story, but legit, I've been a PC gamer my whole life. I've barely played controller games. It started with Doom, Quake 1, and then I just went through id and Valve titles like Half-Life and Counter-Strike and all that. So I've literally just been a PC nerd for forever. Because it was only until my late teens that console games I felt caught up. I felt like the console generation, they were a little bit behind with what PC games were doing for a while, and then the technology got better, and then I don't know. I just never. It's I think my analogy is like riding bikes versus cars. I've driven a car my whole life, and now riding a bike's kind of a bit.
Sure.
I don't know. It's scary. That's how I feel with controllers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say the other Dark Souls games have way better controls on PC. And I don't like shitting on Dark Souls games, but Dark Souls 2 is not that good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no
not where
one
it
likes
started.
Dark Souls 2, right?
Well,
Actually,
nobody likes Dark Souls.
Maybe that's why I got piped. I don't know.
I always say like actually I've had chat like when I stream talk about Souls because we all have the same sort of interest. My chat and myself usually it's like we all like Souls games, we all like Doom games, and they'll generally shit on Doom 3 as the black sheep of the Doom franchise, and they'll generally shit on Dark Souls 2 as the black sheep of the Souls franchise. And I'm like, oh, fair enough. They're probably the most disliked titles in the franchise, but I'm like, shit, guys, I played Doom 3 recently. I had a fucking blast. Like, if that's the worst Doom game,
Yep.
like,
Well,
I don't
especially
remember
at the time, it's not fair, but like at the time with the lighting and the tech, I mean, that was such a big part of it, like, and it was a beautiful horror game, like, I get it today. People like, the light's moving and I'm in shadows. But that was my being able. What was a source of frustration I thought made the game so engaging when I played it back, when it came out, was you always had to make the choice between the light, the flashlight and or a weapon out. Like, so you couldn't just spam the light bulb. There was so much consideration about using it, and from what I understand, that wasn't even like planned. That was just a result of them not being able to have both or something. I don't remember, but
the engine,
which, if I understand correctly, in the update they fixed it so you could do both. Which I thought, I'm like, ooh, that was like the sauce of the game. Like, for me at least, I thought,
like an accidental magic that they stumbled upon.
Well, because it's accountability, right? It's making the player think and make a choice. Like, I say the word engagement around the office, like that's all I ever say. Like, make me think, make me think. You can make the player think too much, certainly, but like, and there's full on value in the criticism of like at times, Doom Eternal makes you think too much. Or maybe just overloads it in the beginning. I think that's a fair criticism. That's my criticism. But I loved that choice in Doom 3 very much when I played it. It was fucking awesome. I loved that game. I get that a lot too. Like, people like, oh, it should be more like Doom 3, or do you like Doom 3? I'm like, of course I do. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, pretty far from a bad game.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think I would start with Dark Souls 2, Spud. I think Bloodborne is a good.
You got to own a PS4 for Bloodborne though. Like, if you don't own a PS4, you can't play it. Unfortunately, it's not on PC, and I don't think it's going to be. I hope it is, but my point is, like, with Dark Souls 2, it's a bad way to start it, because I think that you're like missing out on some of the magic from one and maybe 3 are really good as well, because 2's like the worst, quote unquote, worst FromSoft game, but it's still fucking good. Still a good game,
Yeah.
It's just that 1 and 3 and Bloodborne are so much better, in my opinion.
I don't like in Dark Souls that I'm allowed to cheese it. Like, there's so many ways that I could cheese that experience with the bow and arrow that, like, my favorite part of Bloodborne and Sekiro especially is that they just short it up. Now, I don't think that they care in Dark Souls. I think they're cool with letting you cheese it a little bit more. But I like how Bloodborne forces you to and Sekiro to the extreme of, like, as I often say, playing it in the ideal way, the fun way. Which I thought was awesome. Did you like? How would you, Maynard, compare Sekiro to Bloodborne?
I feel like they're completely different games. With like the obviously all third-person action games made by FromSoft, but like I find them, when you're comparing them, like Bloodborne, there is a parry mechanic, but I don't think it's like you don't need it. Like, you can use it, but you don't need it. The visceral attack, even like that damage falls off over time, whereas Sekiro is like all parrying. It's knowing the moveset of the boss, not so that you can dodge it. It's so that you can intercept it with your sword.
Yeah.
And you don't really have different weapons like you do in Bloodborne. So I feel like Sekiro suffers in replayability because of that. But you do have a loadout of prosthetics. And obviously the verticality of, an arena to move around in, which is something that Bloodborne does not have, is that you're often in a pretty small arena, actually, in Bloodborne. Whereas in Sekiro, you've got like I keep thinking about that, the gorilla boss fight where the centipede comes out of its neck, and that's just a giant, huge arena with all these trees that you just grapple from one to another and one to another. You're like Spider-Man. You're like meat hooking in Doom Eternal. Like, you never hit the ground if you don't want to. And it's just they feel like apples and oranges to me, honestly. Like, just not as comparable as I would like.
I loved. I thought it was so bold and so amazing that really it is just learn how to parry, and you realize that like every hour they're like it's like the game saying to you like, no, I'm not kidding, you really need to learn how to parry. Like 2 hours later, like, I told you, we're dead serious. Like this,
Yeah.
you better get good at this.
I would mean calling it the FromSoft Dance Revolution game.
Yeah.
It's a rhythm game.
But then like I had this moment in and I feel like all games have this, like where like I was rewarded for mastering their core loop, their fun zone, like and so if you really played the game and you mastered the parry and you didn't try to cheese stuff, you were rewarded. Now they kept elevating the challenge with characters, new attacks to time and master, but the general timing of parrying never really changed. And so I remember meeting one of the mini bosses in a covered bridge up in the mountains, and it was just me and him in a bridge. It was just straight out of a movie, and it was like, okay, that moment in a From Software game where you're just like, oh shit, here we go,
Yeah.
And I beat him in the first try just because I knew the parry. Like there was no like gimmick mechanic or some new thing that I had to get, or like, oh, here's the trick to him. It was just like, I had a bunch of attacks. If you're good at parrying, we're gonna fucking go at it right now. And dude, when I won and knocked him off I mean, it was amazing. Like I was just like, that was fucking awesome. And I loved how after the bosses, because all they were just parry mechanic tests. That's it. It was just yet another test of like, okay, we're not kidding. Let's see how good you are at parrying. That there would be this period of like, for the next hour and a half, you were just God, because you were so dialed in to parrying stuff that I would just walk out of there like, all right, who wants some of this? And you just wreck everybody. That game was so funny though, because then it would be like, oh, that's good. You feel good about yourself. Cool. So here's the next, tier of Jedis, Sith Lords that you're going to face. They would never let you ride that for very long, but it was, I loved it. It was so good. And Bloodborne is one of my favorite games, for all the reasons you said. I think their take on the cosmic horror H.P. Lovecraft thing was just so amazing.
I really love horror. Cosmic horror is my favorite, but just horror in general, I'm a huge fan of the genre. It's actually like Mayo and I feel like bonded earlier over our love of not only Doom Eternal, but then like I learned he liked Resident Evil and was friends with Resident Evil people, and I'm like, oh, Resident Evil is my jam, dude. Like the remake of the original is my favorite survival horror ever.
Number one, man. Like it's the gold standard.
Number one.
I'm gonna get Hugo into it eventually.
Which the first one?
The remake of the first one from 2002.
No, I'll get it. My story with that is like, that was huge in the dorms in college. Like, obviously, well aware of it, and the dog scene when it comes out in the hallway, and like just the drama of seeing it for the first time. I just never really liked slower paced games at that time. But like when obviously like the re-release of what's the one that you and I love, the
remake of 2.
Dude, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was just like. I mean, we could talk about that for 2 hours. It was so good. It was everything that I like. I don't like only one type of game, but like, of course, like there are similarities between Doom Eternal and that game, and just in that, like everything counts. Like a bullet has meaning. A single goddamn bullet. Like, and similar. And I know I'm just describing the same moment everybody has, but like the Sekiro covered bridge, it was just like. Stuck in the hallway, up against the wall, in the shadows, clicker, whatever those things that sense sound or movement. It's been a while, but like, I would just because of all of their systems all coming together to create this moment where I was stuck with just like a single bullet in a hallway with things right next to me, and I couldn't move, and I had to time it, and like, but then here comes Mr. X, I could hear him coming, like. And I'm just like, God, this is awesome. This is so good.
And there's and you have to figure it out too. Like, if you die 5 times, there's no like, okay, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna do this. Like, no, like if you don't have the resources for it, you don't have the resources for it, and you have to figure it out.
100%. I think it's.
Speaking of Fun Zone and like Resident Evil and Sekiro and Doom Eternal, what's been really interesting over the past couple of years with my channel and everything is that. Especially playing a game like Sekiro and seeing that a game can really, really have a fun zone and hold the player accountable in everything that I want a game to do. and a fun zone can still not be for everyone.
Yeah,
and
totally.
that was my experience with Sekiro, because I'm 9-10 hours into it, and I'm parrying, I'm doing all that stuff, and I'm beating this hard enemy by doing all these parries, and when I beat him, I still don't feel good about it, and I still don't feel like I had any fun with it, because it just doesn't resonate with me. And it's like, I have friends that don't enjoy survival horror games at all. I have friends that don't like playing first-person shooters. Doesn't matter what they do. And so, you're never going to make 100% of the audience happy with your fun zone, because it's not fun for everyone. There are people who will play through Doom Eternal and learn about, using different weapons, and the flame belch and the chainsaw and the blood punch and the glory kill, and they'll make it all the way through and say, I didn't really like it. Like,
people are broken
you're
inside.
not gonna,
Then
then I'm broken inside for not liking Sekiro, and my friends are broken inside for not liking Resident Evil. I am, I suppose.
It's interesting. I think it has a lot to do with the aesthetics, the tone, the music. Like that affects it too. I know for you, Mayo, it's like the world, right? Like I always just think of it like a genres of music. Like we can all appreciate that Mozart is, this famous piece of music is great, or that, thrash metal album is obviously technically awesome and amazing and has a huge following, but it's just not for me. Like, I don't like the
totally.
death metal screaming or whatever. Like, and so it's like from 2016 to Eternal, and honestly going back to Doom 3 and then 1993 Doom, it's like, well, some people love the dark aesthetic, the horror vibe of Doom 3, but they don't like Eternal because it doesn't feel it's not dark enough. It's not the horror stuff. Yeah. And we did, even though there are people just like that from 2016 to Eternal who like get it, know it, but just like 2016 more because the tone of the game is more for them. What's really interesting is that I've learned this now from 2016 to Eternal, is that even the people who love your game obsessively may not make the journey to the next one for that exact reason. There might be something we do, like a tone thing, that just you just don't. It's, dude, I like hip hop, and you went a little classical, and I'm just like, it has to do with colors, it has to do with location, themes, like it could be anything. And I think as long as we're aggressive, like I think as long as aggression is the answer to all your problems. That's what I love about id games. You could take the fight to the enemy, like you control the chaos, like you're like the eye of the storm. I like that so much that like I just feel unleashed, like there's nothing really holding me back from just laying waste to everything. But you do it in an intelligent way. That I like that about our games.
I've never really been like a big art style prioritization guy. Like if a game goes for a different art style, I'm like, okay, cool, let's see what you're offering up. I don't really prioritize that, but I know that there are some people who are like, they'll see an art style change and they'll write off the game completely. And I mean, that's how
I hear from them regularly.
Some people are. Yeah, and I mean,
that's why I'll show you my inbox. Mm-hmm. What did you do? You did this to the game. Actually, people are pretty cool about it with me, but they do give me their criticism in full. I mean, but I which I love. The consumer is never wrong. It's I just say I get it. I know you don't. It's funny.
I was gonna say I'm fairly open to it, but like I get it. When I go back and I play 2016, and I get to like Argent facility, when you come out of Catting Sanctum. And you're back on the Mars facility, and it's all gloomy and red. And I play it, I'm like, yeah, okay, I missed this tone. But I play it for like 3 or 4 hours, and I'm like, okay, I miss Cultist Space. I miss Super Hornest. I miss Urdak. So I don't know. Like, I really, really love it and appreciate it, but I find myself impatient and kind of want to go back.
There's a 2016's theme was heavily influenced by it's like a John Carpenter movie.
Yeah.
Like there's a darkness to it that I think is really cool. Mm-hmm. And big inspiration for all of us, and myself especially, was because I'm just obsessed with John Carpenter movies. So there's a lot of Ridley Scott in Blade Runner in 2016. Little moments of atmosphere, you know. Target acquisition wasn't nearly as much of a thing in that game. Like, you know, like you didn't. And I still think we could do mood more in Eternal, you know. So that's not to say that Eternal's execution is the only way to do it. It was just, I think, like, I didn't even want to make them look similar at all. Like, it's funny in the beginning, people would say to me all the time, like, you don't even know what was good about your game. I'm like, I know what's good about it. I didn't want it. Why would we do that again? You know, like, I get it. You love that game. Let it stand on its own. That's fantastic. Like,
look at Mortal Kombat 9 to Mortal Kombat X. And look at
Yeah.
how they fucking changed the entire presentation of the game.
It cracks me up when the debates of what's better, 2016 or Eternal. I'm like, why does there need to be a debate at all? Like, you know, like, why can't they
it's
both
people,
be
man.
awesome?
Well, you see things like you use movie analogies. I like music analogies in the sense like you don't release the same album twice, right? Like it's the
Totally.
same band. It's the same band, but it's not the same album. You know?
Absolutely. I say that, and then I'm still waiting for Pearl Jam to just make another album that's exactly like 10, their first one. But
I know exactly what you mean.
I am I am the exact person that I am saying I wish the Doom fans weren't like. No, I'm like that with so many things. I have to say though, like, I think once the precedent is set that each game will be different, then I'm fully tuned in. Resident Evil being like a perfect example. I love that, like, I have no expectation that the next one's going to be exactly like the last one. I feel like there'll be thematically things that are consistent, but I like that there's variation. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I played 4 recently, and Mayo and I talked about it, and that was amazing, dude. That was
a good game.
What an example. And I didn't even play the re-release VR or anything. Like, I just played the old one. I bought it like 2 years ago. This is like totally a checklist game. Like, man, I gotta play this. You know, I can't be walking around a freaking game director and not played Resident Evil 4. And I have so many games like that. And so I played it, and what was so cool, such a testament to what good, solid, gameplay is just all about, is and how it ages so well. It's timeless, you know. The controls are very old and dated. There's no doubt. I feel like I'm backing up a U-Haul truck when I'm turning, and like, but it didn't matter. Like, the game design was so rock solid and airtight. I was just so in it. It was an amazing experience. Just so awesome. Which is just like, dude, if you have good tight game design, it's going to age really well, which I love.
And it's balanced for those controls too. That's very, very important. Like,
Yeah.
the controls are old and dated and clunky, but it's like just like the originals with the tank controls and the fixed camera angles, the combat and the enemies were balanced for that. That's why it works.
Totally. It's just
Except
awesome.
in the Wii version.
I remember when 4 came out, it was such a huge deal where, you know, I was obviously a giant Resident Evil fan, but it became, you know, a Resident Evil game, but really actiony and really, like, you know, rewarded you for high skill, and it was really fast paced compared to the older games. And I remember saying to my mate, when I finished 4, I'm like, I want every Resident Evil game to just be more like 4. And after 5 and 6, I'm like, I want to go back.
I want to go back. Yeah.
I love 4 so much, and I still replay it every now and then. But yeah, I don't really play 5 and 6 much. I still have a lot of really lovely memories of 5. I have almost no recollection of 6, but I have some nice memories of co-op with my friend with 5. But yeah, I just got really, I don't know if it's nostalgic. I'm pretty resistant to nostalgia, but there was something magical and really tightly, I don't know what the word is, but it felt very curated, the first few Resident Evils. And it felt like they could do that a bit more with the way that they did it, with fixed camera angles and, you know, just having moments of silence and moments to just get absorbed by the atmosphere.
Dude, I recently on stream, I replayed Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, the original from '99. And wow, what a game. What a game. I've played through it so many times, and I played through it again, and it destroyed me. Nemesis destroyed me. He was on my ass for like a good 20 minutes in the city. It was so good. Wow, what a game, man.
I heard the one before last, I think it was VR, was so scary that they intentionally made Village a little less scary. Is that true?
Village was made
That would
to
be a
be
shock,
less
but-
less scary. That is on record. I don't think it's because of VR,
No, I think
though.
Oh yeah, that the one before was like super scary.
Uh, 7 was pretty dark, especially the first couple hours. Pretty dark,
Yeah.
to where like I know people who wouldn't play past the first hour because they were too scared.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that from devs in the office, which I definitely want to give it a go. It's hard, man. It's hard to find the time, but I got so many Steam games that I bought on the Black Friday sale that I just got to go through, which I'm excited to do so. And finally, Mayo, we will play Streets of Rage.
We are going to play Streets of Rage.
I gotta
you and me, man.
Yeah, I'm almost done with Infinite's campaign. So then, as soon as that's done, I will
commit right now. This is okay. Publicly, you're going to commit that after Halo Infinite, you are going to play Streets of Rage 4 with me.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, that's it. All right, and then
Too bad, Mayo.
before 2022 ends, you will have played the Resident Evil HD remake from 2002.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, I gotta give you a year.
Nice. It's Halo Infinite. It does not end.
That's right. That's
Exactly.
true.
It's infinite. man.
Sandbox, yeah.
Oh.
Are you, Hmmmp? Are you playing Infinite?
I played a multiplayer, but I got really bored of the campaign, because like Halo Infinite to me looks like a game that's like graphics wise a few years behind, but it runs like absolute trash on my PC for no reason.
Is your PC all? Are all your guys' PCs, because of what you do, have to be obviously? Are they super mega decked out? Like, is your PC rocking?
It has to be.
Yeah, I have a very
mine's pretty high
very
end.
high end. Yeah.
Lots of
That's
RGB lights, all of it.
Yeah, RGB lights everywhere.
I would just, you guys, all of you, like Spud, are you tooling through Infinite's campaign? I mean, you probably finished it super fast, but like, did you give it a go?
Yeah, I did. I smashed the multiplayer for a bit. I've been tainted by your game. I'm not. I've not been a fanboy. Like, it doesn't have a meat hook. It's got the grappling hook, but it's not the same. It's just not the same.
It's a more of Spider-Man, so like kind of pull you through the world, kind of a
Yeah.
cool.
No, I appreciate the game for what it is. It's just I've never been a fan of the floaty movement. Like, it's a bit floaty for me.
Yeah.
That's my issue with it. But I think it's a good game. Like, I have no malice towards it.
Objectively, it totally is.
Yeah.
So what are you playing right now, Spud?
Me, a little bit of everything. It's totally not a single player. Like, there's this game called The Cycle Frontier.
Cool.
Yeah, they're
What is it?
it's I guess like it's a new genre. There's only really one other game in the mainstream.
Oh, like a raid game. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, it's a raid looter
New genre,
shooter.
like Tarkov kind of style.
If you ever heard of Escape from Tarkov,
Yeah.
yeah, that basically the concept of that, but it's not the execution. It's like someone saying, like comparing Doom to any other FPS shooter. It's just the way they execute it. You know what I mean? So it's like this game, it's like Escape from Tarkov, but like sci-fi, and its execution is completely different. Like, the movement's a lot faster, the weapons are a lot more arcadey. So these developers, they're called Jaeger. They're from Germany. They made
already.
they're very efficient. They made Spec Ops. Apparently, I never played it, but it's a really well received game, and they made good money out of that. So they went the full indie route and they developed their own game. They made a battle royale, but it wasn't. It was basically shipped after Fortnite popped off and COD Warzone. So it was like you're like this indie dev trying to do a battle royale amongst all that, and it had like good concepts and ideas, but it just wasn't like, they sort of missed the mark there, and they knew it. So what they did is they flipped it. Like, they took all the game assets, the lore, everything, and they basically made a whole new game out of this realm that they built. And essentially, it's a bit of everything. It's like a survival sim, not a simulator, but like a survival game, like a raid looter shooter. Because it's such a new genre, and I think there's potential in this genre taking over the multiplayer scene eventually, because I think a lot of people are getting tired of battle royales being the dominant game mode at the moment. But not a lot of things are challenging it outside of like Tarkov and Like I feel like that game's starting to pop off a lot. Like the last year, it just keeps growing and growing, and this game seems to offer something to general audiences that I think Tarkov's probably a little bit too hardcore. Like Tarkov hits the millisim gun porn kind of dudes out there, whereas this has got it's almost like a little bit of Rust, a little bit of battle royale elements to it. But I'm going on a waffle. But essentially, this game's different, and that's why I'm hooked on it, because I don't want to play another battle royale. So that's what I'm playing right now. It's not out. They did a closed beta, and it's in the oven for like another 2-3 months. So I weaseled my way into like private testing. So
I will totally check that out.
What I've seen, it's definitely going to be Cycle Frontier. I think there's potential, but
do you have videos obviously saved on your channel of you playing it? I'll just check them out. I want to see see how it's going. And Maynard, you're still you're playing. What are you playing right now? Hey, Allstin's here.
Hey,
Allstin.
made it.
Allstin. Hey, buddy.
Welcome, my friend. We're just talking about what we're playing right now. So Maynard, what are you streaming right now?
So right now I've made a challenge for myself to do something I call the God Run, which is Ultra Nightmare 100% speed run of Doom 2016, then Doom Eternal, and then both DLCs.
Right.
So I've been working on that for about a year.
Holy shit!
And I'm getting close. I can get to Necrovol 1 in one sitting, in 100%,
God,
and then I lost because of the friggin' Doom Hunter glory kill challenge where I didn't get it from the right side. And I ran out of Doom
those are rough, man. Those are really rough.
Yeah.
Those Necrovol glory kills, man. So the kills 100% more than dying to demons.
Yes.
But, so I've been playing a shitload of 2016. I've got I got Zamide on Discord. I got Bite Me. I got all these pros helping me just learn routing and speed running. So it's just like, because it's so hard and it's so fast and you can't forget anything because it's 100%. And it's going to be like an 8 or 9 hour run when it's done. That's what I've been working on. That's been my my Everest. So I'm streaming that almost every day.
I talk to Bite all the time, and he's so and it's going back to what we said before of like the little things that could turn you off not turn you off, but the elements that need to come together for you to fall in love with something, and Bite Me doesn't like the fact that like the game Eternal is not that he likes that and I'm not saying anything he hasn't said on his streams. Like the story is a big thing for him from 2016 to Eternal to the original Doom, like Doom 3. And so when I'll get feedback from him, it's mostly focused, because he'll give me feedback. It's passionate. Oh, I like 26 better, just my preference, blah blah. And I'm like, well, what about gameplay? And he's like, oh, well, Eternal all day. So it's interesting how the darker colors, the color palette, the more moody one man, lost in a facility kind of vibe, is something that has a lot to do with why he likes 2016 so much.
Yeah, he also told me he didn't like the weapon swapping meta, like the fast weapon swap, like PB Rocket, that kind of thing, and he thought that 2016 was a little bit more positional, whereas Eternal was very like spammy. I've had him tell me that before, but
totally. But then I would argue that there's as many gimmicks to overcome 20. Like I don't like the 26. I could shit on both games all day. The thing that I don't like about Nightmare on 2016 is I think it feels cheaper at times. Like the lethal imp.
Oh God, tell me about the imp.
Yeah, it's just it, and then it really forces a lot of just spawn memorization. Like I know it's like that on all games, right? You play them enough, you know what's going to happen, you know where it's going to come from. But like I just felt like watching you guys play 2016 on Nightmare, the cheap shots, which really force you to then just know where they're going to spawn in and melt them when they arrive.
When I watch high level, like I watch speed runs of 2016, I watch speed runs of Eternal, like the spammy aspect of it, that's a criticism that I don't understand, because when I see speed runs of 2016, I see a much more limited variety of tools than I do in Eternal. When I watch the high level streamers and speedrunners and players on YouTube and playing PC mods and all that stuff on Doom Eternal. The highest level players, I see sticky bombs, precision bolt, chain gun shield, base rockets, lock-on rockets, ballista, arbalist, destroyer blade, microwave beam, a super shotgun, meat hook, blood punch, and 2 grenade types all the time.
Yeah.
I see it all the time, and that is an insane amount of weapon variety for the highest level of the game, and I think that's awesome.
And I see, honestly, a fair criticism of 2016 once you really master it and you're going for that speedrun. Let's be honest. It's ballista and super shotgun. Like, it's like you just charge up the ballista, charge up the ballista, and then you...
Double tap.
You don't even need to charge it up.
The Gauss, I'm so dumb.
The Gauss cannon. You don't even need to charge it up. You swap to it with an exploit and just delete things with siege mode when you're speedrunning it.
Yeah, so like
pretty charged. Yeah.
And so I'm like... That's when and I respect all the opinions, but I'm always just like, doesn't that bite me? Doesn't that make 2016 kind of spammy? Because you're just, sort of, you're just spamming the same sort of tactics. What I love, and I think the crack of Eternal is that it's the burn down formulas. The burn, like okay, this is my strat for melting, and what's crazy, I just have to stop playing the game. I really, really do need to play other shit. Otherwise, I'm just going to be a game director that only knows his game. But like, I'm still not even there yet. Like when I do the streams and I get into it and we're doing it more consistently and I'm playing during the week, it just becomes about like, what is the strat to melt every single heavy, like consistently in seconds, like that's so much fun. And to Mayo's point, it's not just, super shotgun ballista. It's not like it's so many things, especially when you start figuring out the falters and how to like stun lock them and like different combos to just basically render them like helpless, like they can't do anything. And all of you guys have like your kind of own variation. Sure, I think if you're playing it on ultra violence, you could become a little bit more one dimensional. But I think if you're really playing it at a high level, especially Horde and the mods and all that stuff, it's like, if you don't have your formula for how to just turn a Baron to red mist, in the heat of battle, in seconds, you're just not going to be able to. Which is what you guys are all doing. It's bonkers what you got. What you guys do with the meat hook blows me away. Like how you use it. It's amazing. You guys just fly. I mean, you're not really touching the ground.
Skips half of Mars core.
Yeah.
It's so much more than even just the quick switching itself, because you have to consider your movement, your positioning, what are your priorities. And so when people put all the emphasis on, I have to be the best quick switcher, I would actually argue that there are other more important things to focus on if you want to survive.
Absolutely.
Restacking being one.
Well, that's when I don't get it done in enough time in my stream. It's because I'm not doing that other stuff well enough. Like I could always. It's not just, to your point, it's not just DPS. Like I'm not the moments of when to recharge your stack and like how effective you guys are at doing that and just knowing when to do it. Totally positioning, honestly, getting out of your headspace and becoming overly aggressive. Like I'll pursue one AI for too long. I love that about the game, that like when I die, A, I could feel it coming. B, when it's done, I'm always blaming myself. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I'm just dumb, and I shouldn't have done that thing, which makes me want to come back for more.
Doom Eternal should have had turn-based combat.
That would have been awesome. That would be awesome.
There is Doom 2 RPG, and it is awesome.
I'm sure. That's right.
And you should be able to romance the demons as well.
Yes. That is funny. You used to the microwave beam was so broken for so long, but it was so much fun.
Wow,
like in development. Well, so what used to happen was, I mean, you do it a little bit where you use it to stun lock them. That used to be like way worse.
Really?
We dialed it in, so it's like responsible now. But like a lot of work was done to get that thing to feel to not have it be just like the answer to everything. What's really funny about that is like during development, we would have testers play it, and they loved it. They loved that they would just go around and whoosh, like just stun lock everybody and fry the shit out of them. And when we took it out, there was always a lot of anytime there's something that's OP, No, people
Yeah.
get pissed off when you take it out. But so much. I love how you found, where it landed, because it's you could still kind of exploit the enemies with it.
Yeah.
But it's not unbalanced. There's sacrifices that need to be made in order to do that, and it requires skill.
The microwave beam has been, for me, has been the most fascinating weapon to examine over the time of this game, because it's like, it was so written off for at least 6 months because it wasn't the weapon that people wanted it to be, where like you just pull it out and you zzz and kill a big demon with it. It didn't work that way. But now it's in this point where it's so good situationally, which is what I think where I think a lot of weapon mods shine, where they're not always great. But there's these moments where like a whiplash is just like out of control and you're like, just stop, please just stop. And you just microwave beam, throw a grenade on him and just like, please die. Or an archvile that's just teleporting all over the place. And it's just, there's so many interesting things. The Marauder dog, hot dog tech, I do it all the time because I find it so fun. Or like microwave beaming a zombie to get a falter on a Doom Hunter and then running in for the blood punch. It's such an interesting weapon.
Yeah, and that's the way that you guys learn that stuff and how you could you're just able to dominate in the game is just so awesome. I think that's where the mods come in, because like now that's where you guys can find that challenge. Some, especially like people in the Discords, to something. I mean, you're beyond black belt. You know what I mean? Like you're red belts now.
Red belt comes before black belt, doesn't it?
No, it comes after.
Oh, well, am I thinking Taekwondo?
It's brown and black and then red. But the which I think is awesome. I mean, when I watch the mod stuff, I'm just like, holy shit, this is crazy.
This Career Blade too. That was written off for a while.
Wow,
until we figured out the right way to use it.
Yep, it's I don't use that thing enough. I need to use it more.
It's so
Hugo, for this podcast in 2022, you've made a lot of promises, survival horror games that you have to play. Mm-hmm. Promise us a stream where you really want to use the D-Blade.
I do need to do that. I'm definitely not. Well, now that we've shored up more of that stuff, absolutely. And no, totally. I need to use more of all that stuff. I need to D-Blade. I need to have it charged. And I need to pay attention to more of the setups and sort of. Well, I need to do a little bit of spawn more spawn camping. Just get to know the encounters by heart again, and just like be there with my D-Blade ready to go, open with that. Like
to make you feel better. The reason why I never used microwave beam is when I first played the game, I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was doing. I didn't understand what it was doing. I'm like, oh, it stuns things for a bit and it doesn't die. I'm like, what is this bar? I don't get it. Am I hurting it? I don't know. And that's what I felt like at the start of the game. So I just wrote it off. And it wasn't, honestly, I was really late to the party. It wasn't until the possessed, the spirits came in where you had to use a microwave beam, where I started to realize it a bit more. And then I'm like, oh, hang on. If something's possessed, not only I can't stun it with a frost bomb. Ah, damn it. Like I can't stop this Baron from chasing me. It's possessed. Oh, but if I use a microwave beam, it stuns it for a second. That's the only thing that stuns it. I'm like, oh, great. And also this bar is its health bar. That means it's nearly dead. I can microwave it and give it a health bar check. Yeah, that's all that sort of stuff came to me later. And now I never use Heat Blast. Like I'm a barbarian when I play games. I'm not a wizard. I'm a high strength, high dex. I don't use my brain. Me no thinky. Just break things with hammer. That's how I play games. And so microwave beam was too cerebral for me, and Heat Blast was dumb. So I used Heat Blast because I get it. You fill up a thing, you right click, things go away. Yeah, but
immediately understandable.
It's exactly what it is on the tin, but microwave beam just had depth to it that I just didn't get until I was forced to look at it with Tag 1.
That's what's really cool about the DLCs is and it's polarizing. I mean, if you look at the Steam scores, who are you going to make the game for? If you go the Far Cry route and there's the DLCs are usually just entirely new games, then sure, it's a fresh start for everybody, so you don't have to make them particularly challenging. But with our DLCs, and particularly DLC 1, where we really didn't give you a new tool to master, it was really just like, hey, use the tools you have, but let's give you now an advanced challenge. For us, it was a chance for us to really push. Who's here? Who just showed up? Ketchup.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh my God.
brother.
What's
Hang
up,
on.
buddy?
Oh my god. Let me see if I can.
He's on his phone on a train in London, I think.
You guys-
Hello.
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 Can everyone hear me? Is it my
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Yeah, you're there.
Oh my
Oh,
lord.
it's nice to
This
have you.
Sorry
This is-
for the abrupt. This has been a complete nightmare, and I think my signal might drop at any minute.
I love it.
Jesus.
It's
On the
when I
edge.
met with your accent. He's on a train in London. It's all very James Bond. I just imagine you on like some bullet train. He's in like one of those train carts. Someone's asking him if he needs a drink. He's like, no, I'm fine, and I like it.
Idiot version.
No, I was just saying, like, for us with DLC 1, it was able to give you guys like an advanced test, and it was amazing to see how it really pushed people to discover more of the kit. Like the entirety of the kit, which was really which was fantastic to see. Like that. Every time. I think with the DLCs, they're bolder, so obviously you take the kind of chances that you wouldn't normally take with a main game, But a lot of those choices too, they're not always loved by everybody at first, Like it takes a minute so to your point about the microwave beam, it's like I think good games need enough of that. It can't all be that because then you're just going to miss with the entire audience. But I think like those things that take a minute to grok, like you kind of like, what's going on here with this, like, and the microwave beam was definitely that.
Yeah,
for sure.
because people like with DLC 2, I mean with DLC 1, they started just keeping microwave beam equipped generally.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, since it's equipped, okay, I guess I'll use it. And I think more and more people just started just kind of throwing it out there when they weren't before. And plus, I was doing my videos on it and people were talking about it more. And just people just started seeing like, oh, wow, it's like, it's not the OP weapon that we originally wanted it to be, but it does have like 15 different applications.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is what made it so interesting. It's an interesting story, that weapon.
Austin, did you say you had a question?
Yeah, speaking of OP, there's something that was pointed out in a recent video I did. I'll put it in the chat here. The ice bomb in this GIF has 2 charges. Was that something that was going to happen in development and then cut later?
Might
Never
be a
noticed
mistake.
that.
Where am I?
Never noticed
It's
that it had
possible.
2 charges.
It's
It
possible.
looked just like a frag in that, and I was thinking like, what if that were a thing?
Wow,
I
yeah.
think that
Upgrades.
would break the shit out of the game.
It
I know
was-
that.
That's a half charge. Wow.
We that was another thing that throughout development was extremely broken. That every time we'd get the game dialed in, then I would have these couple of dudes in the office who just kind of min-max everything, and I was just like, I don't want you to play it, I want you to break it. Like just show me a strat. Just and so sure enough. It was like our test. I'd be like, "You're not going to be able to break this," and then they'd come back like a day later and be like, "Watch this." I'm like, "Shit."
Nice.
So the ice bomb was definitely that, like the striking the bound. I still, among the areas, I think you could have cooldowns, but like when you have something really powerful and you're just waiting for it to be ready, like it's a dangerous road to go. I think we thread the needle well enough. I still get irritated by the waiting on the power of the ice bomb to engage. I don't think it ruins the game. It's just like it's borderline. It irritates me because it's so powerful and you do wait on it. It's why I don't like rage meters in games. I think not a traditional rage meter that just fills passively over time. Like I don't like, to me, the blood punch is a rage meter, but it's something you actively have to fill, and it the beauty of the blood punch is it's like, and how do you fill it? Go back into the fun zone. Like, you know what I mean? Like worry kill and do the stuff that's fun. And then that's the cookie for playing, is like, we'll give you so you're sort of stacking power by mastering the loop. Whereas like a passive cooldown, you're just like, well, just wait,
Yeah.
I think it's a step up though from Stun Bomb 2016. That was just too much, too powerful.
Combined with holograms, my God.
Hologram actually did break the AI.
It actually
the enemies
did break the AI.
Use them enough.
You talked about wanting to rebalance the ice bomb like half a year ago or so, and you had all these like ideas for it, and ultimately you decided on not messing with it because it's so hard to figure out what you would do. I think the only thing that could have been done is to make ice bomb a pickup, like throughout the levels, like pick up an ice bomb. Now you have an ice bomb.
Yep.
Like that's the only thing you could do, because making it something that you would charge through glory kills or something like that, just I don't know, just wouldn't feel right. I guess.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I agree. We gave up on that just because it's like striking that balance would be too hard. It's also why the feedback loop of the shield. When enemies hit the Marauder shield, and that kind of encourages them to spawn a dog in, and certainly you feel it in the mods because there's so many more AI in the mods and multiple Marauders that's when that issue really exposes itself.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an issue in the base game. I don't really think it's an issue in DLC. I think as the mods became a big thing, that's when I started getting a lot of that feedback. And then when we made Horde, it's in Horde 2, because in the final levels, we're not quite there, but we're touching the level of insanity of a mod where there's 2 Marauders and a shit ton of AI. And so they are spamming, and they're possessed. They are spamming the crap out of their dogs. But my fear of wanting to touch that, I've told you guys privately, and I've said this in the stream, it's like the balance implications of that in the main game are huge. Like, I mean, the ripple effect of that could be very negative, where all of a sudden the Marauder in the base game gets a lot easier because it's like, well, where's the dog? You know, like it's kind of like flaws and all. That's what the main game is balanced to. So I'm scared to touch it because of the there's a lot. I mean, you guys know this, the ups and downs of the patches, right? Because it's like every time we go to fix something, it just knocks into something else. So I feel like the game is in as good as it gets kind of a state. You know, the Steam reviews are feeling really good. There's a bunch of really good things in place.
Ketchup.
He's just getting his tea on his train cart.
Yeah.
Wait, no, he's speaking.
No. So basically, right. So yeah, the nature of UK travel being amazing as it is, our signal was not amazing.
This is great.
Oh my God, the connection.
And bobs of it in the early test and the early play tests that I did in London.
Yes.
Am I cutting out on my robot still? Or
You're
am I
cutting
good?
out. I think I think Hmmmp is going to make a clip of this. We're going to be in the next Hmmmp roast video. That's it.
Next Doom Eternal Mayo podcast glitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, hey, while we're on Doom Eternal, can we talk about master levels?
Yeah.
Can we
Also,
talk?
I do actually have a question as well while I
Go
have
for it.
signal. So I think first of all, just congrats on the continued support of Battle Mode. I've been super out of the loop for about a year, but the Friday Night Fights that Tokyo and I have been doing really feels like I've been seeing it for the first time. You know, like I normally don't struggle to keep up with games. You know, it's something I normally pride myself on as a commentator, but current Battle Mode is actually really hard to keep up with, and I like that.
Oh, it's amazing.
Because it's super, super hardcore. But what I was wondering is, right, we've had a bunch of maps, and you can see all the maps. There's like loads of clear influence in how battle mode is being further understood. Very similar to how the DLC approach, you know, there's new puzzles, new fights. When it comes to the Dread Knight, right, the new demon that got added, like how much of the modern understanding of battle mode went into designing the new demon, you know, gameplay-wise and mechanics and all that stuff?
Everything. The being tactically aggressive, that's the mode was designed to be that. Like so we made our battle mode scene is fucking awesome. I love them. Look, it's a small mode. We have a dedicated audience, you know, like it doesn't have multiple modes that reaches broader audiences. So it's just a well-crafted experience for people who are into that sort of thing. And I always tell people, I'm like, if you're bored of playing Doom Eternal's single-player campaign, the last tier of difficulty for the Slayer is battle mode. You know, like if you really want to push it, you know, to the extreme. we wanted it to, like, with 2016's multiplayer, which I love 2016's multiplayer. It's really good, but it's you know, it can be just kind of run at the guy, shoot, die, respawn, run at the guy, shoot, die, respawn, or shoot, kill, respawn. Like, yes, there's tactics to it. You get into a match with people who know what they're doing and you're really competing to win. That's awesome. But, like, you know, it's traditional. You know, it's things you've done before. You're doing it in Halo Infinite right now. Like, so, which I love their multiplayer. So with when PUBG came out, it was like, the drama and the pacing and the skill required to play that game was so refreshing to me. Like, the pace changes of like lulls and how within a single match there could be just these different moments, the kinds of experiences. Whereas, like, I feel like 2016's multiplayer was a little bit one note. It was just like run, dodge, shoot. You know what I mean? Like, you're always flooring it, which is great in its own way. But I liked that there was so much pacing in this new experience of a battle royale. And then I liked how, like, over time, I was really rewarded for acquiring and understanding the skill in the game. You know, like, in that case, it was learning an entire island. Like, if I learned every inch of the island, I would increase my chances for success. In ours, it's obviously understanding the maps, the nuances of the maps, positioning, you know, which hallway is what, and things like that, how you could use it to your advantage, and, you know, jump pads, and mastering where all the traversal opportunities are for the players, and the optimal, you know, pathways that you could use, and then the drama that came from that, like, enormous drama. Like, basically, it was like, if you can't make my heart come out of my chest in the post PUBG, because that's the most addictive thing about a great multiplayer. Sometimes, in particular, the battle royales when they first landed, was like, for all of us, and, you know, Spud has experienced this 100 more times than thousands of more times than I have. But, like, when you take first place, it's like, I need to stop playing. I'm not gonna have a heart attack. You know what I mean? Like, when I would I remember taking first place in PUBG the first time, and just my heart was coming out of my chest. You know, like, with my friends. I mean, it was amazing. We could hear you, Ketchup.
Yeah, man. Hang on a second, let me mute.
Okay.
I found him.
They found him.
Tracked him down.
So we went into battle mode wanting to, in our own way, definitely a unique experience. Like, didn't want to make a battle royale, but, like, you know, those core values of just, like, something with a high skill ceiling, something that had pacing in it, you know, slow moments, intense moments. And those things were driven by the systems when they came together, like the regenerating demon and stuff like that. And then and drama, you know, something that was capable of making you sweat at times. So and tactically aggressive. I mean, that was key to the experience. Like, that you couldn't aggression, nonstop aggression wasn't the answer. Like, it had to be that you know, you could be aggressive tactically, you know when to push, when not to. What happened was, like, the Marauder became the bane of my existence and all of ours, because he made it so you could push all the time. Like, his stat when at ship, like, we noticed that tactically aggressive became kamikaze demons, just like run at the Slayer nonstop and just pressure him until he's dead in the ground. And I hated that. That wasn't our, and it's because the players got a hold of it, mastered it, and then broke it, as is usually the case, you know. So we made a bunch of balance changes to kind of bring the tactical part in back into the experience. And then with the Dread Knight, we had him in development like before COVID, and then of course COVID happened and the world changed, and so it actually gave us time to be able to see these different kamikaze demon metas take hold in the various ways we tried to kind of rebalance it. So we had this huge advantage of designing him, you know, updating his design that had been sitting on the shelf for a couple of months. Sure. With all of these examples that we were seeing out there, and really pushed on the tactically aggressive part, which is why people say, like, oh my God, he's OP, and it's like, he's not OP. Like, if you can, there's a counter to his aggression, and he will have to retreat, you know, if you could survive it. And I thought the Friday night fights that have been going on has been just an amazing example of that. I mean, we just did a show. I actually filled in for you, Ketchup. I did the best.
I know.
I did the best I could.
honestly, no, for real. Like, I'd always wanted to do one of these shows with you. You know,
Unfortunately, it can't be with us today. Then I'm just kidding.
Ketchup is calling us from
You're
another
cutting out
space,
big
another
time,
time.
No, it was awesome. Like I just seeing it, happen live, like the tactically aggressive, and so yeah, most of his kit is around that. I mean, super glass cannon, like very very powerful, but like also someone you really had to just be mindful of, and you could counter. And then, it is that the stacking, knowing when your stuff. I mean, Overwatch does this. A lot of the MOBAs do it, and it's just like, making a run at the player and triple stacking your abilities to make an effective pass. Then the counter to that, obviously baiting out people's attacks. So, man, if you haven't, everybody out there, I tell everybody, it's like go to Spicy Demons. Like there's those guys are like mad scientists over there. When I play them, I just get mauled. Like I mean, it's not even, and Xbox, PS4, those guys coach me up, and it's fun. It's really really fun. So it's it's great. I love battle mode.
I tuned into them recently, like a couple weeks ago. I just saw that Hey Kyle was doing a stream, and I just clicked it, and it was like 15 guys just in a battle mode stream. And I don't really watch battle mode. I just watched them play for a couple hours. I'm like, wow, this is really impressive.
It's so much fun to watch. It's it's so much fun to watch. And in this Friday Night Fights episode that aired, I got to ask a couple of questions that just to kind of expose the strategies that are going on, so people can, because it happens so fast, that like it could be a little bit hard to follow. But actually, I think battle mode is actually easy to follow because it's only 3 people. But like, you just picking their brains so people can see like all of the different sort of strategies that they're employing, kind of at the speed of light.
Hey, I just got a message from Ketchup in the chat. He is in the countryside. And his Ketchup, hey, you're there. Do you need to sign off, man? Do you need to go?
Honestly, I think so I don't sort of intrude anymore. I think just on the off chance of this constantly cutting out, it's probably for the best.
Okay.
No, it's all good.
All right. Well,
I'll tell you what.
The countryside.
Everyone,
he's
happy
in
holidays and everything.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays, mate.
yeah. Happy holidays to you, man.
Catch up. Happy holidays, man.
And I'll be signing off
thank
as
you-
well.
thank you
at this
so
time,
much.
too.
What's that?
Okay, and Alston's heading out as well.
All right, later, bud.
Yes, good talks.
Thanks for
I
being
was
here,
just
man.
about to-
We love you.
Damn it.
I'm gonna escape before the intercom starts again. But
Yes,
thanks
yes.
everyone. Happy New Year's and that. Hugo, love you, mate. Thank you so much for all the stuff you do, and we'll see you all next year, I think.
Yeah. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the support.
Bye.
I liked. Now he's on the countryside. He's in an Aston Martin. He's just like
Yeah.
cruising by. He's James Bond.
Collared shirt, half unbuttoned, Ray-Ban sunglasses. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have to head out in a few minutes as well because I got a birthday party coming up.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
are the last closing?
I wanted
closing
to
discussion points?
talk a little bit about the design, the method of designing the new master levels, especially World Spear.
Yeah, World Spear is the chef's.
I want to know what you guys were thinking. How did that master level turn out the way that it did?
Well, Brandon Souders, he's a principal designer at id Software. He's been there a long time, so he's he's just amazing, and huge credit to him, certainly, because he was in charge of that master level. I think that honestly, like at that point, we are dealing with an audience that's really smart, and for us, it's so much fun because there's almost nothing we can't do to you guys. Like as long as it's executed in a fair way, the jungle gym that we give you, the obstacle course that we give you, can be so sophisticated because that's what you guys want, and so it's just the gloves are off. We don't have to hold back. Like we can do anything, anything we want to do. I mean, it's like it's just nonstop tricks and traps. And I think the big thing is like understanding what it is that you guys, the strengths of the players, and then how to challenge those strengths, how to make you think differently. Constantly just the basic trick is just like the second that you fall into a repetitive play pattern with any game, it can be satisfying, but then eventually it leads to boredom. So like I think like, okay, you've got the hammer and you've got this stuff. Let's really design it so you want to use the hammer, master the loop of charging it, but then also at times make you think when you can use it. Like which is where the screechers come in, the electric hazards. Like there's just so many things in there that say like, master the hammer, but now think about when you use it, like thinking, like how should you use it here? When can you use it? When is the game allowing you to use it? And honestly, like it's an example of like, had we made a DLC 3, like, because the meat hook traversal points, we get to use more of those. Like there's just really stretch our legs with the AI and the tools. So I think we just have so many tools at our disposal at that point that we were just able to make what I think is, one of the coolest master levels we've made.
Yeah. Oh, Hugo. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks this is funny, but for the next master level, do you think you could like, for the biggest arena in the level, so like the hardest arena, I guess, could you like spawn in like one imp, and then the player's like, all right, I just gotta kill one imp, and then when they walk out of the arena to the next one, like one of those walls pops up and they gotta fight like the actual arena.
That would be awesome.
This is pretty funny.
That would be funny. Well, I'd love to do that stuff. I think surprising, the element of surprise, I always describe it as like a fun house to the devs. Like think of it like a fun house. Like, when you're a kid and you're at a carnival and you go through a fun house and, that element of surprise of keeping you on your, just kind of slapping you in the face every once in a while is good. So that would actually play well because that would be a surprise, I think
cool.
like a good story, every time you think you know what's going to happen, it goes another way. I think that's what it needs to do.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been doing that in Doom since the original Doom, so it's definitely good stuff. I'm glad you guys like it. That was very much made for you guys. So
That's
yeah,
really
World
fun.
Spear was actually awesome. I liked that level a lot.
I liked Mars Core. I think complements it well because it's just kind of a not nearly as hard, and you could just kind of blast through it.
It's a roller coaster, like I said.
Yeah.
It's just like flying through and having a great time.
Yeah, totally.
I had a hard time with Mars Core because my BFG didn't work, and there is a section where they expect you to use the BFG, but it didn't work.
Oh.
Oh, really? That's not good.
Oh yeah, no, it's probably not you guys' fault because I modded my game so much that my entire save file is kind of like broken, I guess. So whenever I boot up a new save file, the BFG works again. So
Is there? I don't know if you can confirm any of this, but are we gonna get more master levels? We're like, you have a community that is really ready to support this game long term. What is there any kind of year 2 pass or something like that can lead to id Software setting up a team to continue support for this game and have more master levels?
Unfortunately, I can't talk about any of that stuff. So
Okay. Damn it.
Stay tuned if there's if there's any announcements. But as far as like being able to hint at anything or anything, I'm not allowed to talk about
Okay.
anything.
I'm pretty sure we're getting the balls master level. Hugo Martin confirmed
Balls
it.
master level?
Yeah, he confirmed it himself.
Absolutely. And we did adjust, season 2 for Horde. We got new
Right.
values in for the medals and new high value targets and things like that. So
How are you guys feeling with like the engagement numbers and the reception to Horde mode and everything?
Really good. It's to be expected because it's it taps into the single player audience, which is always going to be the core of what Doom is. So yeah, people are playing it. We see the numbers, and it's about what we'd hope for, and it's we're excited. I mean, yeah, you could. We always had that discussion, like, sure, endless waves, and totally. I mean, we could. It's the same with battle mode. It's like, okay, deathmatch. Yeah, why not? I'm not against deathmatch. It's just like the resource. You have to just make decisions about the thing. You know what I mean? What are you going to make? What are you going to focus your money on? Like, we don't have endless time and money, so it's like just trying to make the best combination of content for the players. You got your master levels, you got your Horde, you got your single player DLCs and stuff. So it feels like the game is in a really good place. And what we're seeing is that there's a wide variety for everybody. You know, kind of like a little bit of everything for people, which is good. And people who want to, you know, just continue to blast through that's the core of what we see, is just people blasting through the base campaign again and again and again, you know, which is good. There's kind of a pattern to like the way people engage with the game, that like they do that, then they graduate up to the DLCs, then they, you know, move on to Horde. So it's kind of like this, once you get into Doom Eternal, I think if you were to buy it now, there's like lots of tiers of engagement for players.
Oh, wow.
You know,
yeah. If you're coming into this game right now, there's so much to do.
Yeah, totally. Which is good. I'm happy for everybody. What else, you guys? Any closing discussion points?
I don't know.
Not a closing discussion point. I have a nitpick, however.
Do it.
For replay value, especially replay value, this doesn't really matter for a first-time playthrough at all. When in certain arenas, when you finish them, there's a camera shot that like shows you a door opening or where you need to go, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Would it be possible to make like a toggle for that kind of stuff to make because there's a mod out there that skips all that type of stuff. Oh, sorry, I choked on my own.
Yeah. On your own criticism. We can't, because basically, like, I would love to. It's just more breakage opportunities. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh yeah.
Like it's worked so hard to just like get it to this place where the crashes are at like an acceptable place, and just trying to get. I know it's not perfect, but like. Just really working hard to try to get it as stable as possible, and every time we do that kind of stuff, we're going back in and we're messing with the wiring, and it's gonna break something.
Yeah.
So same. I actually asked again, like, hey man, can we please have like just saves for master levels, like at least like one hard save point or maybe two, where it's just designated like, hey, if you make it here, we could save. There's no possible way. Just the ripple effects are like. Huge, which is unfortunate, because I personally also would love to have a save point in the master levels, but we all would. It's
I think a lot of people do understand, since you have explained like that the framework of the game doesn't always support that without a lot of messing with the game's code and that kind of stuff.
Because that's where our replay value comes in, absolutely. So I think that, and that's why I think whatever we make next, I mean, we're no different, right? I mean, you learn stuff and then you use it on the next thing and the next thing. So like, we've definitely got a lot of ways that we could improve the experience moving forward.
I can't
touch Doom Eternal in those ways, because I'm so scared.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can't imagine how much you guys have learned. Like you put forth a really, really ambitious game that evolved into something that you didn't even know it could become, and like the lessons you learn must like fill an entire book going into the next game.
Especially the DLCs, because we were allowed to do bold stuff that we would never do in the main game. Because it's for the Doom audience. So that it's crazy, absolutely, 100%, and it reinforces things that we knew, but it's just the lesson. Like, engagement has to be everything. Like, you have to constantly like be saying to yourself, like is the player engaged? Like just give them something to think about. When it just becomes mindless, or rather the loop, like there for us, there's a chink in the armor. There's a spot inside of the game that you didn't account for, and the player falls into it, and you're watching people beat arenas or go through the game using like some exploit that's just like not might be fun because it's overpowered, but it's just like you're done. They're just going to do that. Nobody wants to do the same thing again and again and again for so many hours. They just get bored. So it's like engagement being everything. Always acting like be really mindful of your design story. Know that the consumer's going to know what it is as soon as they play the game. So like just trying to make the best game possible, and act like the consumer's in the room the whole time. I think that's good. People laugh. I've heard people say, "Why does he say consumers? It sounds so impersonal." That's just from Art Center. Like when you're at Art Center, you're doing design, industrial design, and so it's that's like that's the boss. I mean, that word is not like just they're sheep. No, I'm like that. Consumer means boss. You know, which is good when you think of it that way. It makes you really, really considerate of the decisions that you make. I think all the best products feel that way. You know, they feel like they put me first, which is good. And it's funny because I'm the same exact way. You know, like that's how I want to be treated when I buy things. Or honestly, even when I go into restaurants or anything like that, it's just, you know, not that I want to be an asshole to anybody, but just like, you know, treated fairly, treated well, which is what we're trying to do. But you guys have treated us well, and we are very grateful. Even your shit posts, Hmmmp, I like them.
Yeah.
They crack me up. Somebody sent me one, and they're like, does this bother you? I'm like, it's hilarious. Like, what? Do you not understand that he's joking? Like, you know, like they're like, man, he hates the game, like, because it'll be like him falling through for this game of shit. I'm like, he's played the game for like 1,000 hours.
Yeah, he's still playing it.
Yeah, but like messing with like the people that don't understand that it's a joke right away is one of the most fun parts about it.
Do you watch Devo much lately, Hugo? He's been doing some mod. Not lately.
Not lately.
He's been doing mod challenges, and he's been playing this mod where someone's taken an alleyway in one of the DLCs and just shoved in like 1,000 demon spawns. Like, it's just an alley. There's nowhere to go. There's just like one of the hooks for the meat hook for him to traverse up and down vertically to avoid stuff. Anyway, you know, he's got like 10,000 hours playtime in the game, right? And he just gets bodied by like 5 cacodemons that just spawn around him and just all insta-bite him. And he goes, "This game is fucking trash." And you realize that someone wrote in the chat, "Why do you play it?" And he just looked at the chat and he's like, are you for real? Like,
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, but
dude.
it's just him. It's him in the heat of the moment. Like, you could just see he just got fucking.
He's having a gamer moment. It's a gamer
demons.
moment. That's what it's called. It's a gamer moment. He's saying some gamer words. It happens.
People will take my compilation rages and they'll go on Twitter and they'll use it as an argument for how the game in fact does suck. And they're like, see, even the creator, and I'm the same, dude. I'm just like, what do you, yeah, dude. There's a
Stairs.
There's a thing that always freaks me out because in UR testing, they'll have like a button that says anytime you're frustrated or beyond, you know, you boil over, could you, you know, press it so that way we could identify the moment. I am very strong opinions against that because frustration is a part of engagement. Like anything I do that I love also irritates me, you know, like at times, you know, like I really like jiu-jitsu, and if I had a button every time I was frustrated, I would hit that thing constantly, you know, like you know, basketball players who just, you know, he's dedicated his whole life, he misses the game winner, they lose the game. If he had a button, like somebody ran up to him, "Do you like basketball right now?" It's like, can you get the fuck out of my face? Like, you know, like, no, I don't. I'm super pissed off, you know? Okay, but does it mean you don't like the game and we should change it? Maybe we should make the hoop bigger. It's like, no, I'm just, you know, I just need to get better or whatever. It's just like, I'm frustrated right now. So yeah, I love when people do that. It cracks me up. Is a game supposed to be nonstop smiles? Like, is that, I mean, I suppose it can be.
I'm one of those dynamic difficulty. When you get hit, the game gets easier.
Yeah, I'm actually one of those weird people that really, I mean, my chat always calls me masochistic because of the games I play and what I choose to do to relax. Like Doom Eternal started off as my my day off stream game, like I mentioned earlier, but I would like do Ultra Nightmare runs, and they're like, "You play Ultra Nightmare to relax?" Wow, StarCraft 1v1 must be terrible. I'm like, you know, it is more relaxing for me to play Ultra Nightmare. Yes, thank you very much. But I always joke that for me to like a game, it needs to choke in my mouth and call me scum. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Doom Eternal is a fun game if you're skilled at it to just turn your brain off and listen to a podcast in the background while doing Ultra Nightmare or something.
Yeah, that's what and that's what I like whether it's an MP or something like, you know, I think the trick is it's just got to be balanced, you know. So it could strike a balance for you that it's a comfortable level of engagement, keeps you. I like that you have to respect Eternal always, but yeah, you could get into a flow state once you know it. That like, especially like sometimes I would play just on Hurt Me Plenty, just to be God, you know, like just because I knew the moves, and you know, you just flow through it. You're not even looking, you know. I don't know that holds my attention anymore. It did during development, but now probably that would be like ultraviolence for me. I definitely like it the most, even during development on Nightmare. But that's not for everybody. For
sure.
It's just because there's just a greater sense of challenge. Well, this was awesome, fellas. I loved it. Mayo,
Yeah.
I'm in no rush to go, but I feel bad. I know we've gone over. Any last questions?
Oh,
I'm here.
I mean, none that I have really. I don't know if anybody else does. I've just really had a good time listening to everybody talk and talk myself, and this has been cool. I don't know if anybody else.
Take my shot. Do you like?
Are you taking shots?
Martin?
I'm taking shots. I got
Oh,
shots.
no, I'm taking. This is my one chance to ask Hugo.
Oh.
Hugo Martin, do you like Big Chungus?
I don't even know what that is. Like, so
welcome to my side.
So is that really bad? Because one time my kids called me Big Chungus, and
No.
yeah. They said, what did they say out of the back of the car? They were like, "All right, Chungus," and I was like, "What is Chungus?" I should look it up because maybe it's horrible, and my kids are terrible. What is Chungus? What is Big Chungus?
I can upload this to YouTube asking Hugo Martin what Big Chungus is. Now, Big Chungus is like, it's Bugs Bunny, but fat.
Okay.
And
There
that's
you go. All right, I could live with that. Yeah, they're like, all right, there, Chungus.
No, you won't get in trouble with id Software or Bethesda for this, I think.
Okay, good.
Pretty sure.
Well, I hope not. My kids say it, so like, and they're like
Yeah.
7. So that is funny.
That's good.
That is
Little
hilarious.
children knowing what Big Chungus is. That's
Yeah.
that
They
made
know.
my day.
They know everything. What else? What other questions?
Mine, it's not a direct question. It's more of a personal question. So see it on an angle of like, I'm asking you, Hugo, not the you know, the head of id, not what are you doing on your next project. So this isn't asking what your next project is as a team or whatever. Okay, if it's 2G14 classified, or it does like sort of lean into what that could be, understandable. Just go pass, hard pass. But like, I'm a massive Quake nerd. I know I can't ask the question. You know, obviously you're not making the next Quake or whatever. You can't say that. But if you had like the freedom, like let's say there's no decision made. You're not even making a game, right? This is you personally. Would you prefer, and it's personal, so like it doesn't mean that like, you know, Quake fans are going to be pissed or whatever. This is personal. Would you prefer to explore Quake in the future as giving it the Doom 2016 treatment, or would you prefer a new IP? Again, not confirming anything. It's just you're like your creative juices where you want to take them.
I couldn't answer that. It's impossible. I can't.
Impossible. Okay, got it.
Yes. I tell you this, it's all fun. So you know, but I just couldn't. I couldn't answer it. That would be impossible.
Can I modify the question a little bit?
Sure.
Is there a franchise from another developer that you would love to take over?
No, I like they're all awesome. There's so many, you know. So no, I couldn't
if you
even
could
answer
make if you could make a Doom 2016 reboot of a classic Nintendo or Sega Genesis game.
Oh, pure fantasy world. You know,
and id Software Turtles in Time.
So hoping for you to answer with God.
I'd play that.
Yeah, I couldn't even say, man. There's so many. You know, and honestly, it's just it's also just something new, something old. I mean, all of it is just so. I love my job. You know, don't tell anybody. I would probably do this for free. So like it's really enjoyable to do to be able to make games. It's like a dream. So and in particular to get to make it with the people I get to make it with, because we've been you know, everybody's so complimentary to me, and I really appreciate it. But I say it all the time in the streams and in the Facebook page updates. I know I'm the lamest. That's like where I communicate with the fans is on Facebook. But the you know, it's totally a team thing. Like, I mean, we just have an awesome group of people. We like working with each other. We've been together for a really long time. So kind of like getting to that point where we're like finishing each other's sentences, and that's my favorite part is like the people I get to make it with. So it's as long as it's a game and it's cool, I'm down for it. I'm down to work on it.
Anybody else got a question?
All my questions are like in the you're not allowed to answer them basket, and I totally understand, so I won't ask
It's
them.
G14 classified.
You know, like if he told me you have to kill me, I'd have a black bag and be sent to the gulag. But yeah, I have like I'm scared of the next phase of the Doom thing as far as story is concerned. I'm like where things land off in Tag 2, and I don't want to spoil anything story wise for anything out there, and for anyone that hasn't finished the DLCs, but there is story. It extends from the base campaign.
Sure.
And I'm worried about things like power creep. Worried about big characters being fielded, in my opinion, a little too early.
What's
and
power
what's going to happen
creep?
next in the story? Yeah,
What,
power creep, man.
what does that mean?
What
Is that a
power creep mean?
StarCraft term?
Just
Nah, it's-
like the player being too OP.
Oh,
Or like,
Like he's got like the hammer
the-
now and the crucible. And...
Or like wink wink nudge nudge, a seemingly omnipresent force suddenly being defeated, and what's next?
Oh,
What is bigger than that? What is bigger than that? How do you meet a threat bigger than that if the Slayer isn't enough? That kind of story beat is something that I'm concerned about. But obviously, if I'm like, what do you do next in the story, Hugo? That's a really dumb question because he's not going to answer that. So,
Well, I
those
mean,
are like
I
the
would
big
say-
questions burning in my brain.
So we do have the lore Bible thing, and Bible is a strong word, but it's kind of like a couple of like, think of it more like almost the 10 Commandments. Like we have some lore that we've worked on recently, because like people kept asking me questions about the story, which I love, but like I can't be like, I felt bad because I want to answer the questions, but then it's like, guys, let us make content. Let's save it for a game or save it for like an update, because I'm just eager to answer your questions, but then I feel like I'm not doing the game service, so we got it all into like these lore commandments, like these like sort of scriptures, and then we're going to illustrate them just like basically new codex entries, and we haven't illustrated them yet, but we have the story, and I kind of want to so it's good supplemental content to fans of the DLCs and Doom Eternal base campaign that kind of fills out some more of the story. Doesn't do the thing where like what happened to the Slayer before the beginning of Eternal. It's more about like the mysterious voice and primevals and the Dark Lord, and why does he look like that's the Slayer? What's the connection? So stuff like that, questions like that because I think there was the bug, like, so it was mysterious. The voice at the end of Urdak that goes no in the sky. At ship it said mysterious voice because that's what it was supposed to be. And then the voice actor, like, look, you're not going to pay a voice actor just to say no. I mean, like, that doesn't make any sense. So how development works is like you get an actor in the booth. If they could do a variety of different voices, which they can, you'll have some supplemental lines from like, oh, NPC number 35. Some dude, some mysterious voice in the sky says no. Which of you guys has a good godlike no voice? Oh, you do? Cool. So do it. And so once you get the actor to do the voice, then from an Excel sheet perspective, it's like this guy did this, this, and this. So he was classified as it is the guy who does the Dark Lord voice who says the no thing. Then there was a change made to a file, yada yada yada, and accidentally it went to the Dark Lord. So in an update in like patch 2 or 3, it got switched over to, now it said Dark Lord is saying no, and people connected the dots of like, well, that's because the DLC and blah blah. And I was like, no, that's a mistake. That's not supposed to be like that. So the mysterious voice of saying no is supposed to put that stake out there of who is that scenario. Like clearly there is somebody above all of this, which is just a convention of storytelling of like, there's always somebody greater. You know what I mean? Like what's beyond that, and who controls this, and where did it all come from? And so for fans who are interested in that stuff, I wanted to flesh out more of those questions in like a lore Bible that we could upload to like the Slayer's Club or something. And that's on the way. We've talked about that in the stream. As far as like feature creep, I mean, TBD, just see what happens. But because we would, like I said at the beginning of the stream, I think every game that we make, no matter what it is, it's not an announcement of a new game, like just anything, I think it's important that we start fresh with the new game. When it comes to like the kinds of tools the players have, whatever kind of game it is, whether it's a Doom game or anything, it's like if we don't give you a refreshed experience of something like Eternal to 2016, it feels different. Then we will end up in a place where like 2 hours in, we're going to have to get so hard, This is just going to feel like a DLC, which means then we'll just have to make it really challenging. And I don't think that that's good for like a base game experience.
Yeah, totally get it. I mean, I'm definitely one of those guys that cares super hard. Like I'm with Mayo in the sense that I don't care super hard about like art and graphics and that sort of thing. Although it is nice and it's great to, when it works, it's awesome. But to me, priority one is gameplay. And priority two, honestly, is audio as well, like sound design. I think Doom Eternal really doesn't get talked about how good the sound design is for the most part. People will say, "Oh, the stun animation is a weird sound effect that doesn't really match," and I agree with that. But like the precision bolt headshot sound, the crack and the echoey reverberation of the precision bolt, and the grunts, the demon sounds, the music. Like, I really hope whatever happens in Doom or any id game, I hope you can get somehow Mick Gordon, David Levy, and Andrew Hochschild all together to just keep making that music, because goddamn, that music. Like, I feel like I could tear a car in half with my bare hands when I'm listening to the Eternal soundtrack and I'm in the gym. So
I think that's the thing, is like, it's just got to get your heart going. It's got to be the soundtrack to your being a badass. I think there's as long as it gets your blood pumping, I think that's the key, is like,
it does.
What do I need to do? There's a pace to it that I think good action movies have it. I think actually Winter Soldier has it. I think the Heat has it, with De Niro. I think it's just that pace that your toes starts tapping, and you move through the space. Our complex in particular, we worked really hard on trying to get that pace as you move through the hallways, just like seek and destroy,
there's obviously the only thing they fear is you. The main line, the main chorus, if you want to call it, of the song in the big battle arenas. But even that, like, it's, you got that kind of like hunting sort of killer, roaming down the hallway sort of thing. So that stuff to me is all brilliant. Like, the first time I ever experienced it, honestly, like the dynamic music was in Dune 2016. I'm so happy it keeps happening.
Our sound design team,
the DLCs as well. Our
sound design team is amazing. I mean, we work really hard to try to prioritize the. I'm glad you appreciate that stuff, because it's not easy. And those guys.
I used to be in a band, and I'm a bit of an audiophile, so
they work.
I pay close attention to that shit.
When you listen to like Infinite, and you hear that like the soundtrack is not so loud, obviously, so like the sounds are able. There's just less things competing for your attention, so you can communicate things a little bit more easily, because it's not as cluttered. They're not just spinning as many plates at any one time, and that doesn't mean that we're better or worse. It's just like a different kind of game. Doom is a rock concert. I mean, it is like, it's so the challenge for the sound designers then is, how do I communicate that headshot, that dazed state, that when I've got a rock concert coming on. And I think they do. Chad Mossholder and his team of guys does just an amazing job. They put a lot of work into it. I prioritize it, definitely. Like I need to know what's coming at me, what it is, like the game is constantly talking to me. It's telling me things constantly and asking me to make a decision. And so audio is a huge part of it. I think what they did in Urdak was just amazing. I mean, I think half of what makes Urdak so creepy is just the sound.
Agreed.
With all the awesome world building that you guys did with like 2016 and Eternal, I know you came from the like, you've got a background in the film industry. Could you like have a word with Bethesda and see if they could buy the Dune license for making a game?
Please.
Could you make a Dune game? Have you seen the new film?
There's already 3 of those games on the way, dude. Have you seen the news? There's like 3 Dune games on the way.
It looks all right.
Well, and that's how I felt, man. I was like, when I saw Dune, or I heard it announced,
my God.
I did like the movie. I was just like, yeah, I'm stoked for the movie, but just make the game. Actually, I couldn't agree more. Like a kick-ass. If there was ever an open world game that needed to be made with multiple planets, biomes, roaming the desert, going to Yidi Prime, going to all the, Arrakis, like all these crazy places. Like, it's got to be Dune. You know, like, make that game, please, somebody.
Please.
All day. I want to do the. They didn't do a lot of it in the first one, but the weirding way, the sound projectile weapons of David Lynch's Dune. Like, where's that? I want to do that shit. The shaw.
It's unfortunately not part of the book, and I think they had to finagle the end. I'm a bit of a Dune nerd. The weird.
That's not in the book.
No, that was a creation just for the movie because they needed to get to the ending quickly enough.
That shit is awesome. It's like one of my favorite parts of the David Lynch movie. Just the sound and the concept of it is so friggin' cool.
I think the concept is cool too. Yeah, I have like a lot of love for the Lynch movie, even though it's like, you know, a lot of people shit on it. I grew up with it, so I have tons of love for it.
100%. Like, there's just no doubt. It's amazing. What I didn't like about the Dune movie, and I guess my beef lately, is just like there's just a lower production quality at times that's like, what's going on? But I guess it's just a big conversion from film to television, because like some of the set pieces lately are just like a little bit underwhelming. Like the ending of Ghostbusters, what is it called? Ghostbusters Afterlife, where it's just like, you think about the set piece in the Ghostbusters, the original, which was made in the 80s when apparently, you know, obviously it was really hard and expensive to do shit. But it's like, it's at the top of a building. The Marshmallow Man walks through New York City. Like, it's huge. And the budget is a fraction of what people spend today. And like, and the ending of Afterlife is just like, we're in a cornfield.
Which really is a soundstage.
Yeah, totally. It's just like, I can't see shit. There's just the silhouette of crops in the background. And as a set piece, it's just like, what? Like, this is it? Like, you know, you're not even coming close to what happened 25 years ago. And
I actually feel the opposite about, like, I disagree with that on the new Denis Villeneuve one, because I mentioned this to Spud when I was in his chat. I'm like, that movie was such a visual and audio spectacle to me that if there was no dialogue, I would have sat there for 2.5 hours and walked out of there and gone, that movie was great. So, like, if it was just images and sound and music.
I agree 100%. Right up until, like, so 90% of that movie is that, like, that. Oh, Jesus Christ! Hold on a second.
No, the dog disagrees with Hugo too.
I get this a lot. I get this a lot. Yeah. But I think my dog's opinion on movies is also kind of skewed. Like, I've been alive a lot longer than my dog, so I know a little bit more about movies. Not to, you know, gauge my dog's opinions.
So 90% of it was that, and that's what I loved about Dune. Was it was a return to that. Like, I felt like I was watching a big budget movie again. You know what I mean? Like, look at this. This is awesome. Like, it's a new world. It feels fresh. Like, all those things, except for the final finale. Like, it felt like it was like. They were sitting around like, oh, guys, we got to shoot the end. It's like, well, we're out of time. It's like, well, you know, just go behind these rocks. You know, it's all good. Like, just maybe we should wait till sundown, or maybe it's snowing. Like, can we do it? Nah, dude, we don't have time for that. Just like,
I agree with you on that. The desert looks better in Lynch's movies than The desert looked better, chaotic. And the siege look better. Yeah.
Yeah. Just when they have that fight, I'm like, this is it. We're doing this here. Like. Can we at least go to the top of the rock so I can see the sunset? Can we do anything? You know, like, other than it looks like you literally went behind, you know, just you're in the back of the sound stage, you know, like, so that was it. Because everything up to that, I agree with you 1,000%. It was just at that tier of just like, movies are back, dude. You know, like, it just feels awesome. That and. Yes, that has been my beef lately. So that's why I think, like, with the game, you know, we get to experience it just real time. I mean, it's gonna be amazing. I can't wait to play that Doom game. Honestly, too, like with the Matrix Unreal demo, I'm just like, okay, so you're making this game, right? Like, just like, what are we waiting for? Just
just make
I think a lot of people are getting blue balls out there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, finally fulfill the fantasy of the original Matrix, you know, and just put us in that world. Let us have those, you know, that ability. It was such an awesome demo. There were a lot of really amazing game trailers at the Game Awards that I just totally enjoyed.
I've already got my front row tickets for Sonic 2.
Sonic 2
Yeah.
is going to be amazing.
It's gonna be great.
I'm really good friends with that director. He was my coworker, and yeah, we co-directed a short film together at Blur Studios. We never finished it, but yeah, Jeff Fowler's a good friend, and the graduating class of Blur, circa 2010. A lot of those guys went on to do some pretty cool stuff, and yeah, my kids are excited too. Sonic 1 was really good.
Sonic movie has such a good recovery from like the first trailer to
What a
when it
bounce
finally
back!
came
Oh
out.
my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's good. Sonic 2 is going to be good. There's no doubt. People are excited.
Yeah. Let's hope the same thing for the Doom movies.
We don't have anything to do with that. I don't even know.
Oh no, I know.
They can do anything they want to do. Did you guys see? Speaking of amazing shows and movies, I watched Primal, the animated series, Gendy Tartakovsky. Did you guys see? Have you guys
I've
seen
not.
that yet?
Mm-mm.
Got
I
it.
have
No,
not.
I haven't actually.
Go watch it. Go watch it today,
Oh.
tomorrow. It's
I keep getting
there's-
told to watch The Invincible.
Yeah, that too. That's really good. But Primal is on Cartoon Network. I think it's on Hulu or something, but or HBO Max. I don't know. But it is amazing. It is so good. Simple.
Spud and I might have problems with that. We don't get Hulu or HBO Max in Australia.
Do you get Cartoon Network?
I think it on Foxtel, maybe?
No,
I
I
don't
don't. Maybe
I'm
it's
not
a part of
sure.
that Stan thing. Stan seems to be the one that gets all
Stan,
that.
yeah. Actually, there's
Yeah.
another one now called Binge. There's too many streaming things.
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
I stopped getting cable and going, oh, Netflix is so much better because cable was like $100 a month. And now you have like four streaming services, all $15 each. And like, well, I'm almost paying cable prices here. Anyway,
yeah, totally. I'm the same.
I'm an old man. I have old man problems.
Penguin Town is the best Netflix series.
Penguin Town.
Penguin
Yeah.
Town.
Penguin Town. It's really good.
Wait, how do you say?
Because of
Wait, are you
the-
saying penguin? Say
Penguin.
say penguin. Say penguin.
Penguin.
No, it's penguin. Say penguin.
I don't mind. People
this is
make
gonna be
fun of
that,
me for saying
There's no
penguin.
G at the end of
Is it-
penguin.
Cumberbatch.
Penguingo.
Oh,
Penguano.
I don't even know what it's called.
I'm too busy
Penguin.
watching Netflix trash like Dirty John. That's I love my
nice.
trash, man. I love my trash TV. Watching The
Dude,
Stranger.
I-
Season 2.
Speaking of trash TV, I was at the dentist and she's like, "Do you want to watch something while I'm doing anything?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I was Netflix and I'm looking up there and I'm like, "Oh, the Tiger King. I heard this was good."
That's
Dude.
some trash.
It literally within minutes I was just like, I'm going to watch this entire. This is the greatest thing
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
ever seen in my life.
It's like eating a bag of really greasy hot fries.
Dude,
You know, like-
it is. I would describe this first minutes, dude. Like, I mean, I'm sitting there, she's drilling or whatever she's doing, and I'm just like captivated within seconds. I'm like, how good could it really be? It's just like a slow-mo car crash, bodies flying out, and you're just like, I can't. And just the opening alone, and you know, it ends with he tried to have her murdered, and there's drugs and scandals and sex. I'm just like, this tigers, like, and every character that they introduce is crazier than the next. Like the one Tiger King person in North Carolina who's accusing the Oklahoma one of being crazy. I'm like, no, dude, you're crazy. Like you're as crazy as he is.
They're all
And then-
psychos.
Yeah, and then the one who's trying to save the tigers, I'm like, lady, you might be the craziest. Like it's the best thing ever. I can't. It's the best show I've ever seen. Like
Oh God.
it's so good. Oh my God, they got it. I heard the second season is not good, but I don't really care. 'cause
I
I'm
haven't
just
seen
gonna
it
watch
yet.
the
I've been waiting for time to just sit down and engorge myself.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can bring myself to do it.
Oh God, dude, it's exactly what he said it is. It's like bringing yourself to eat, like just
Yeah.
a hot fudge sundae. That's
I don't know.
what
I've
it
been
is.
feeling
But
queasy
like you're
lately.
already full, but you're already full, but you can't help yourself. You just keep putting it into your body. It's one of those things.
Exactly.
Mayo, did you see that Resident Evil Netflix anime thing? I'm pretty sure it's an anime, but
No, I avoided that, but I did see the movie in the theaters.
Oh my. Oh yeah.
No, I didn't
And
see
now-
the anime.
They made him look like Resident Evil 6 Leon for some reason, even though it's in between the games.
I don't care anymore. Ever since Wesker started teleporting, I tuned out of the story.
Resident Evil
Resident
stopped
Evil
being
got-
scary as soon as zombies started ducking behind cover and shooting back.
That's very funny. It was very funny.
Well, guys, is there
Nail a
anything else?
precise moment.
Is there anything else we want to bring up before we get out of here?
Nah, man. We can just do shout outs and that sort of thing, I guess.
Hugo, favorite scene from Robocop?
Oosh. Oh, there's no question. The when I would say the sequence when he is first revealed. When he emerges and they're finished. So everything from when they're making him is a masterclass in like just storytelling and all that shit. But like in particular from that scene when they make him and it's all from the first person. They make the audience throughout that entire experience. They make you like the people in the police station. Like you're dying to know what he looks like. You want to know what he looks like, and he knows that, and he won't show you. He gives you little glimpses. He shows his hand. He shows different things, and everybody's looking at you. You're seeing it through his screen. It's genius. You get a close up of his eye and his reaction. But then when he's finally finished and he goes and he pulls off the plastic and he walks out, like as an audience member, this is why that guy's a goddamn Verhoeven's a genius. Like we're craning our neck forward in the seat. We're like, what does he look like? You know, and
you see him on the TV in the distance.
Yeah, the way that they give you these little tastes, and then like, and he keeps going with it. Like then he walks by and you catch a glimpse. Then it's through the blurred glass, and you're one of the cops at that point. You're just like, whoa, what is that? What is that? And then when the camera tracks with the police running to where they just brought him, you know, there's that shot where the cops are just like, I don't give a fuck. Who cares what's going on in the police station? I want to see what this is. You know, we are that audience. We're running with them. So he really puts us in that. It's so engaging. And then finally, when he reveals him, he still never gives you a good look. He's behind the cage. Yeah. What I think is so much better about it than the second one, and I do like the second one, and then of course the third one's a train wreck. But it's the concept that they use in a car commercial where like you don't just show a Ferrari. Like if you're revealing a new sports car, a new exotic car, we all know it. It's the Michael Bay shots. They do a close up of the fender, and then we track along the side, and then we go to the rear, and then we look at the exhaust pipes. Like I never just show you the car, or then when I do show you it, the camera's in motion and the highlights are racing across the car. It's like it's just to sell the shit out of it, to treat it like this exotic animal that I'm revealing for the first time. And that's exactly how he does it. Like it's from his behind, and then like they get low on him and they're looking up, and like he's moving. He's in that. My favorite part is when you really think about it. He's in that chair, and he's just like they're asking him questions, and the chair is rotating him around, which really makes no goddamn sense whatsoever.
Why is the chair moving?
Yeah, seriously. If I'd be the science, like, can we turn the chair off, please? Like I can't do my job because he won't stop fucking moving. Like, why is this chair moving? What purpose does this serve? Like. But it looks awesome. It is the race car on a rotating platform being revealed at a Detroit auto show. That's how he treats it, and it's probably the best couple of minutes of cinema ever. You know, no, among them. You know, like because everything about that whole. So in particular, my favorite part would be the end of that, where I start running down the hallway with the audience. I mean, with the cops. And then he just treats him like he's this Ferrari, which that's what sucks about the second and third. Is like by the third they just treat him like he's an actor. Like they just show him standing there, and they do it in the second one too. Like even
he just shows up.
Yeah, even in the just the way he's framed, like compositionally, you know, from a flat, just like an actor. Like the way that he is treated in the first scene when he after that when the guy. They're in the like 7-Eleven, you know, like the fuck you guy, you know, like or fuck me. I think doors. Yeah, exactly. It's just the Ferrari entering the room and the way that he filmed from the ground. Which he's so smart is that he puts this Ferrari, this gorgeous state of the art thing that he has just sold the shit out of, and he puts him in the most ordinary place possible. Like he doesn't set a convenience store with like just in the middle of downtown. You know, anywhere, USA, you know, like, and it's him, the juxtaposition of the highlights on his armor, like him next to goddamn Pop-Tarts and fucking Ho-Hos and Twinkies. Like that's the genius of it, you know, like, and how the guy that he's fighting is just, you know, he's like a bump, like, and like he's they couldn't have more of the polar opposite of what Robocop looks like. You know, he looks basically like he's the $25 million man, more than that, you know, $600 million man against this, like, you know, criminal guy, grungy, and a bunch of Twinkies. It's genius. It's awesome. He would not stand out as much if he would have sent him into, well, you're going to raid a corporate office. That's your first mission.
That's a good point.
Imagine how bad that would be. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this you know, down on Park Avenue, there's this cyber criminal who's, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, no, dude, go to a 7-Eleven. You know, it's a good ass movie.
Every time I talk to somebody about RoboCop, I think of something else I wish I would have added to my video. And that is a great point. The juxtaposition of RoboCop against the bum in
Pop-Tarts.
the 7-Eleven, the Pop-Tarts, the Pop-Tart point.
Yeah.
It's not my video, damn it.
Yeah,
Great answer, Hugo.
And the criminal. No, it's really good.
Great answer. Guys, all right, let's do our shout-outs and get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
Grab the hump and hump alone.
Spud, we had talked about this possibly being the last podcast for Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, it's a good bookend.
I want to say yes, but at the same time, Ketchup wasn't really here. I thought about maybe what if we just do one more of just you, me, and Ketchup, no guest, just like
Maybe.
a talk.
That sounds like a good idea.
a chill and goodbye. I think we'll do.
A good send off for Ketchup as well.
Yeah,
that was pretty good. It was like good night, guys.
but this will be the last, real Doom Eternal podcast with guests and real game talk and all that kind of stuff. And then we'll do something a little more personal to say goodbye later. So Maynard, how about you take your shout outs?
Sure thing. I pretty much just stream on Twitch. I'm twitch.tv/Maynard, as my name is spelled probably in the video. If you want to see a man just get worn down to a nub by a video game, I'm doing the Ultra Nightmare big old Everest climb from Dune 2016 all the way to Eternal up to the end of Ancient Gods Part 2, where you kill the heck out of the heck man.
You mean to Necrovol?
Yes, to Necrovol 1, where I get reset and sent all the way back to level 1 of Dune 2016 to start all over again. If you want to see that, if that sounds interesting to you, Twitch TV Maynard, chuck us a follow. I'm there almost every day of the week.
Great, I'll have a link in the pinned comments. Hump, you want to take it?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm a clinically unstable alcoholic that fills the hole in my soul with numbers on the internet. I spend every waking day of my life fantasizing about my next video, and I upload 12 times a day.
That's awesome.
Spud, this is up to you now.
I like, subscribe, and comment the Spud Hunter OnlyFans, Twitch, YouTube, all of them.
Hugo, I mean, I feel weird asking you if you want to do shout outs, but
shout out to the id team.
Yeah.
And absolutely who together we make it possible, and shout out to honestly all the support we get from our publisher, no doubt. Shout out to the awesome people in PR and community, Josh, Nick, Patterson, everybody who allows me to do this stuff, but you know, the other stuff, the Friday night fights, the streams and everything, a lot of work goes into that, so huge shout out to those guys, and then a shout out to you guys for all the support, all the fans out there. Appreciate the feedback, and it's been awesome. I loved it.
Thank you, man.
This is it's been an interesting year. It's been an interesting couple of years, and for this year-end special, I just want to thank everybody who is here tonight or today, anyone who has been with us on this podcast for the past couple of years, you, Hugo, everyone at id, everyone in the community, everyone who watches my channel, everyone who doesn't watch my channel and watches everyone else's channels and all the other streams. You guys have made this difficult time a lot better for
Yeah.
all of us, and we hope that we've made
100%.
it better for you too. That's fine. I'm getting emotional here. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. We love you all.
Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Stay safe. Spend time with someone you love. Do something nice for somebody who doesn't even expect it.
That's right.
And everyone say bye.
Don't play Doom Eternal.
And play Doom
Yeah, sorry,
Eternal.
Doom
All right.
Eternal.
Or don't play it.
Yeah,
All right, bye.
All right, see you
Merry
guys later.
Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Chungus.
Yep. Happy holidays.